Hello, welcome to Show Boys. My name is Mike, and with me, as always, we have Pixel Nick, Chad Walk the Third, and Dadong down there. Yeah, we got a very special episode for you guys tonight. It is the first round of the Show Boys March Madness streaming service original series tournament. Before we get into it, we got to get some stuff out of the way. Thank you to our top tier patrons, Joe C, Yusuf H, Tim B. Thank you for your continued support. All of our other patrons, you guys rule. If you're here watching and you enjoy what you hear tonight, or if you're a returning viewer and you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. We're doing a giveaway campaign, our road to 1,000 subscribers here on the Showboys Podcast YouTube channel will allow you a chance to win an OLED Nintendo Switch that Nick is waving around in front of his camera right now. We want to get rid of this thing, so please subscribe, tell your friends, so we can get this giveaway underway. Chad, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you, Mike?
Hey, thank you for asking. I'm doing pretty fantastic. I'm real excited about tonight. What about you, Dad?
I am good. My back is a little sore though. I was watching Mike stream Pokemon last night and I fell asleep in a really weird, awkward position. So I've been a mess all day.
I'll count that as we put people to sleep on this.
Yeah, hey, that's about the 15th time I've got that compliment.
It's because it's Pokemon.
Hey, that was a fun game. You guys should go check it out.
Sweet.
I'm a gym leader in a Pokemon game. Anyways, Nick, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Good. Happy to be here. Excited to kick off this this thing that we've been planning for 3+ months, maybe.
Yes, quite some time.
Go over to our Patreon and look at all the behind the scenes, the making of.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. Hey, by the way, yesterday was Nick's birthday, so
happy birthday!
Oh yeah, happy birthday, bud! I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
How much in the loop I am.
Guess how old he is?
Because 33.
Oh, Dad. I mean, Facebook.
I don't know.
Facebook. All right, that was pretty close, Chad. To me, Nick is like this weird, like, ageless wonder where he could both be 38 but also 23, and I just can't tell.
Just combine those and make it 28. I'm 28.
28 forever. But yeah, happy birthday, Nick.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, I did, and I think got a few more birthday plans.
48.
Yeah, 48.
It's close.
48.
Are we gonna get an answer or?
Oh yeah, I'm a 32-year-old.
Nice.
I'm a 32-year-old.
Oh geez. Well,
my mother-in-law thought I was 40 at dinner the other week. She's like, "Wait, you turning 40?"
I didn't know you were younger than me, to be honest with you.
Wait, now how old's Chad?
34.
Oh,
I think.
That literally makes
allegedly.
Like once you get past 21, you just kind of stop counting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing else to look forward to.
Right.
I mean,
that literally
Chad
makes
Glow,
me the dad.
He could be 24 for all I know. Chad,
Dad is the dad of the group. But yeah, we got a lot to get through tonight. So thank you for being here with us. If you're wondering if you've been living under a rock or not a part of our Discord or haven't visited our website or not a patron and have no idea what the heck we're talking about, we have put together a month-long tournament to decide what the ultimate streaming service original series is. And we are using the NCAA March Madness format. We made a bracket. We chose 64 shows with the stipulation that the show had to be a streaming service original series. It could not be a show that aired on some channel and then was purchased by Netflix or Prime and then got the original tag slapped on it. Those shows were out. It kind of made an awkward thing with HBO because that was and is like a premium cable channel, but also has its own streaming platform. So shows like Game of Thrones didn't make the cut, but House of the Dragon did. So we went through painstakingly, like Nick said, we've been working on this for at least 3 months. We trimmed the list down to 64 shows. We made our bracket. We gave them seeds. We determined the matchups. And tonight we kick off round 1. We're going to go through all 32 matchups tonight in round 1 and determine the winners. And how that is going to work. We put out a poll. And how many responses did you say we got, Nick?
33.
33. We got 33 responses, which is pretty decent for the poll. What we're going to do, we're going to go through division by division, talk about the matchup, introduce the matchup, see what the poll results were, which, you guys voted on, who you thought should and would move on. So we'll go through the poll. If we disagree with the poll, the division host will, make an argument for why we should go against the poll. If we can convince the panel, which are the other 3 people here, that show will move on. And we'll do that for all 32 matches here. The criteria, which we have here, each matchup will be judged on these 6 categories. Now, of course, each round we will go more and more in depth in these categories. But we have story, which is the overall quality of the story being told, factoring how interesting, fluid, and well executed the narrative is and how it plays out throughout the series. We have characters, the overall quality of the characters used in the series, taking into account how the characters are written, acted, and used throughout the series. We have aesthetic, overall quality of the visual presentation of the series, including the cinematography, presentation, visual effects, etc. We have world building, which is the overall quality of the world's cinematic universe within the series, factoring in how fluid and seamless the world of the series blends into the narrative and the potential to see other stories told within said world. We have, last but not least, cultural impact, which is the impact made with the audience, including memorability and the impact on viewers and the impact on the industry as a whole. And then, of course, we have a bonus category for number 6 and helping determine like ties if we need to. And that is the music, quality of the music, both the original score and the use of existing songs, as well as its effectiveness when it is used. For example, like building tension or exerting emotions from the viewers. So each matchup will go through this set of criteria. And like I said, here are the rules for round 1. We will go through each matchup. It will be deliberated by the entire panel of hosts, which is me, Nick, Chad, and Dad, of course. Each series will be judged using the criteria we just went over. 3 of the 4 panel members must be in agreement for the match to be decided. The audience poll and average overall ratings will act as panel tiebreakers, which we kind of flip that. We're going to kind of go on the poll, and then we will determine if the poll is actually correct or not.
Same difference.
Personal bias will be removed as much as possible, with each matchup being analyzed objectively. And then, of course, the last rule, which everyone needs to follow, is to subscribe to Showboys Podcast and Showboys Gaming while you're at it. Help us reach that 1,000 subscribers so we can give away the Switch. Which is an OLED, by the way. So any questions or things that the panel would like to get out of the way before we get in to
could you go through all of that again?
Yeah, just
Well, I
one
was
more
just about
time.
to say-
Yeah, barrel through it.
Can
I was
I
about to
just
say that was very well articulated. Very good job, Mike.
Thank
I
you.
was
I
very
was gonna
surprised. Yeah,
say,
you did a very good job.
I didn't practice that or anything, and I was literally reading from my other screen, and I don't think I really messed up.
You didn't.
Nailed it.
I was
That doesn't
impressed.
happen
Well,
very often.
You don't have to
Nailed
lie
it.
to us. We know that you practice it in the mirror a couple times. It's fine.
That's true.
It's fine.
That's true. I actually took today off work just so I could sit in the bathroom and practice.
Like
okay.
Tyrell.
So now that we got that all out of the way, let's see. We got some comments here. 25. You can rent cars at 25. That's right. That's true.
Yeah, that was
And I
like
think
always the
maybe your
thing to look
insurance
forward
goes
to.
down a little bit.
Yeah, that's also true.
And Chad. Even though I threw an extra Chad in there, but that's because I like you. All right. Well,
Sweet.
let's get in here since we have no questions or anything. Let's get rolling. We have our first matchup. We're going to go through my division. So I have 8 matchups here to walk you guys through. And the first one, we're going to start with the Chosen, which is the number 1 seed from my division, facing off against Carnival Row, the number 16 seed from Prime Video. The Chosen actually has its own streaming app and is a part of the Angel Studios streaming app, but was recently picked up by Netflix. Moral of the story, this is only available on streaming services, but it's available on a few, so it kind of makes the cut because it has its own. So I guess it's original in that factor. Like I said, the seedings were determined based off of the average overall rating of each show. We took their ratings from Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, and IMDb, averaged those together, and then that's how we determine the seedings. Fun fact, The Chosen actually had the highest rating of all the shows that is involved in the tournament here, and I think at like a 96 or something, which was pretty high. But Nick, do you have the poll results here for this matchup?
Yeah, the audience poll results. The score is 22-11 for The Chosen.
All right. Honestly, I did not expect that. I thought I would have to fight really hard for The Chosen here, but I agree with the poll. Having seen both shows and having been a pretty big fan and promoter of Carnival Row when it was out, I think
you're a bigger fan of Jesus. We know.
I am, but even taking that out, I think as a show, mainly I'm going to focus on one of the categories here, and that's the cultural impact of The Chosen. Particularly, like it's impacting viewers and people, but I think what this show does for Christian media as a whole, like this is the first good piece of Christian media in the TV show or movie realm.
Okay, so I'm glad you clarified that.
Absolutely.
I was going to say all media, like books too. That sucks.
Show or movie,
right?
Maybe ever. Like this might be like the first like truly good one.
I don't know about that.
It's doing things like season 3 that just premiered. It released episodes 1 and 2 in theaters as kind of like a movie of sorts, which we had talked about on the podcast. Shows doing things like that, incorporating theatrical releases. It actually did, and its box office numbers rivaled that of Wakanda Forever for the season 3 premiere in theaters, which was pretty nuts.
Yeah,
and it has kind of led a revolution of Christian media being produced via crowdfunding through this Angel Studios app. We have new shows, new animated shows, theatrical release that just came out called The Jesus Revolution that also stars Jonathan Romy, who plays Jesus in The Chosen. All that to say, I 100% agree that The Chosen blows Carnival Row out of the water, which is sad to say for Carnival Row because it's a good show, but I don't think its story and impact in its genre matches what The Chosen does for its genre.
I was going to say for like cultural impact, 0, right? Because it's pretty deep cut fantasy. Carnival Row is, so
yeah.
If you were to pick a category to blow it out of the water with, that would have been it.
All right, so I think that one is decided. We have our winner here, The Chosen, moving on to round 2, which, by the way, I forgot to mention this at the start of the show. We have a perfect bracket challenge happening, and that you can no longer submit your brackets to because we've started, but we do have a couple, so we'll have to go through tomorrow and see if we have any left starting next week. But let's get on to matchup number 2 here. We have the HBO Max original series Landscapers heading up against the HBO Max original series Peacemaker. This is a tough matchup for me. You guys have all seen Peacemaker, correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
No,
You haven't, Dad?
You don't
not.
count, Dad.
Oh, whoops.
I know. I don't count.
Excellent. Hit enter on my keyboard. And none of you have seen Landscapers, yes?
Correct.
Nah.
Well,
I mean, neither has any of the audience based on the poll.
that's what I was about to say. What do the poll numbers say?
This match was a blowout. Peacemaker 28-5.
Ouch. Oh,
Yeesh.
that's
Crushed
tough.
him.
That is tough. That wouldn't be how I would play the series out, but I mean, obviously I see that because I don't envision anyone really having seen Landscapers, which is a real tragedy because this show is amazing. It's about a devoted, mild-mannered British couple who become famous or who become the focus of an extraordinary investigation when 2 dead bodies are discovered in the back garden of a house in England. And it's based off of a true story. The acting is absolutely phenomenal. We have Olivia Colman and Daniel. I always struggle with his last name, Thewlis.
Sure.
He's in a lot of things. Let me.
We're not going to correct you.
He's so good. He's so good. He's in Sandman. He's in Justice League.
Neither of those are good
He's
things.
he's in
No
Harry
wonder I
Potter
lost.
movies. Yeah, it's a very theatrical, cinematic. It's funny at times. The drama is super intense. But Peacemaker, on the other hand, is a fantastic superhero show. And I want to say, of all the superhero shows included in the tournament, probably gets my vote for the best superhero show. So I don't know. I think I'm going to have a hard time convincing anyone to overturn this poll, though it breaks my heart. So
you would have went Landscapers here.
I would have went Landscapers based purely on like the delivery of the series itself. It's also a limited series. It's only like 4 or 5 episodes.
Ooh, I like those.
That's tough.
It's so strong. It's so good. Every episode's good. Every moment is good. But I don't know. I mean, is that enough to overturn the poll of a beloved show like Peacemaker?
I think, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and you make a strong argument to go watch Landscapers, and for a lot of people to go watch Landscapers to maybe give it another chance someday. But Peacemaker, for like what it was, being expected to be nothing, but turned out to be a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like the surprise like gem of whatever year that was. It came out 2022.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the better, like more surprising shows that I saw that year that I knew nothing about, and then like watched it. We did a couple episodes on it, and I was like, this show's awesome. You know what I mean? And even against like Chad's whole John Cena angst, right?
Yeah.
Like even crushed
He's
that.
great. He's so great in this show, and I'm also not a fan of John Cena. And like you said, Nick, it's coming out of a cursed franchise, and out of the cursed franchise, the most cursed IP of said franchise. Like
James Gunn did it, right?
James Gunn did do this. This was his the Suicide Squad movie was his entrance into the DCU, and then Peacemaker was an extension of that. But yeah, for James Gunn to come in and make it's I don't know, it's not even a sequel. It's not like a reboot. It's just like another Suicide Squad movie that pretended like the first one just didn't even exist, which the first one was by far the most hated DC EU project to ever exist. To come in, make a decent movie. The Suicide Squad wasn't like super amazing, but it was head and shoulders above the other Suicide Squad movie. But to take a character like Peacemaker out of that movie and then make such a great series was I don't know, it's a real treat. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to convince anyone. So we're gonna give this one to Peacemaker, moving on to the second round. But hey, I'm looking on IMDb here. it's only 3 hours and 13 minutes to watch all of Landscapers. So
Dang.
do yourself
Just
a
like
favor.
Avatar.
Go watch the Landscapers. You guys will love it. But moving on here to matchup number 3, we have Invincible, the animated superhero show from the brilliant and disturbed mind of Robert Kirkman, going up against Devs on Hulu, starring Nick Offerman in probably the most polar opposite version of a character from Ron Swanson that he is most notably known for. This is another kind of tricky one because I feel like not many people have watched Devs. Sorry, the camera thing. One of these days, maybe.
One of the Yogi.
It's only been almost 3 years.
2-3 years.
Devs is a really cool show with a really cool premise, and I feel like not many people have watched it. Whereas Invincible, also really good show off of a really cool premise, and probably more people have watched Invincible. But what do the polls say?
Poll gives it to Invincible 21-12.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
The audience.
You know what? I think honestly, I'm okay with that. Of these two shows, which have you guys seen? Either, both, none?
Nada.
Is neither an option, but I am the most intrigued by Invincible. I've just never got around to it.
I'm more intrigued by Devs.
So
I
am
didn't
I.
really think it would go the other way. But this animated show over here must really be a goodie.
It's so like what about, have you looked into Devs at all? Or like what intrigues you about it?
I think just the premise, because it does seem a little different in that regards. But I also know nothing about Invincible.
So let me tell you about Invincible.
It's just like an exposure thing. I'm more exposed, at least like to the advertisement and awareness of Devs, whereas like Invincible, nothing about that image like registers in my brain.
Right. So I have Invincible's page up here. So it's an adult cartoon based off of the comic written by Robert Kirkman, who is most known for The Walking Dead, obviously. But it's a superhero take from the very disturbed mind of Kirkman, which if you've read any of his comics, but The Walking Dead alone is really messed up.
Yep.
Just imagine that, but with superheroes. It's kind of like the comic version of The Boys, I guess would be the most relatable way for those of you who have seen The Boys. The main characters voiced by Stephen Yeun, who was Glenn from The Walking Dead. His character Mark is the son of the most powerful superhero in the world, who is voiced by J.K. Simmons, and his name is Omni-Man. And just insane, crazy stuff happens, and it's good. It's good. The voice cast is crazy. You got Sandra Oh, you got Zazie Beetz, you got Walton Goggins, Gillian Jacobs, shout out Community. Just it's packed. There are so many big names. It would take me like 10 minutes just to go through. But let's pull up Devs here just to get the short little synopsis for you. A computer engineer investigates the secretive development division in her company, which she believes is behind the disappearance of her boyfriend. Nick Offerman's character is like the CEO, president of this tech company who's working on this like really secretive project, and it gets real nutty, gets real like blurring of morality, kind of. Sadly only one season though, but it's a good season. This is an Alex Garland show, who is also known for movies like Ex Machina and Annihilation. I don't know if you've seen either of those. He wrote some of 28 Days Later, Dread, which was an awesome little superhero or little comic movie. But at the end of the day, I Man, I'm torn, but I don't know if we can go against the poll really, especially with no input from you guys. So
You're welcome.
yeah. Invincible. Moving on. Let's see what the audience says. Civ says Devs was amazing. Invincible with continue by Devs is probably a 1-season show. Yeah, Devs is over. That ship has sailed.
Rip.
But yeah, Invincible. We'll move on. Let's get on to matchup number 4 here. This will be pretty easy, but also heartbreaking for me. We have Ted Lasso on Apple TV, our number 4 seed, facing off Homecoming, a Prime Video series from the mind of Sam Esmail, which you guys are now well acquainted with.
Oh, yes.
Coming in at the number 13 seed. This is a no-brainer. You don't even have to tell me the poll. Ted Lasso, I feel, is going to blow this one out of the water. And
25 to
rightfully,
8.
What was it, 24 to 8?
25 to 8.
25 to
Ted
8.
Lasso.
It deserves it. I mean, Ted Lasso is a great show. It's not in my typical wheelhouse of stuff I like to watch, but I fell in love with this show. It's a great show to watch with the family. It's funny. It's heartwarming. Ted is just a great character, and just look at that mustache. You only get to see half of it here in this image, but man, it's a great one.
That's all you need.
Homecoming, though, is a great show, and again, much like Landscapers, I feel like you shouldn't sleep on this. It's 2 seasons. And it tells a very, very interesting story. Sam Esmail is involved, which is the brilliant mind behind Mr. Robot. So you have that level of quality there. Our favorite Bobby Cannavale is in that show. He has a great role. But it just doesn't really hold a candle to Ted Lasso, and it hurts because I loved Homecoming. But we're gonna send Ted Lasso on to the second round. There's a better look at that
Look
mustache.
at that
Dude. You get both
stash.
sides there. Ugh. And by the way, that guy on the right, he was Zeus in Thor. Or not Zeus, Hercules in Thor.
Hercules.
The end credit scene there. So
Hercules.
got that going for it. Matchup and number 5. We have HBO Max's Barry, our number 6 seed, going up against the Netflix
Smash
powerhouse Bridgerton, the number 11 seed. So here, guys, here's a great example. We removed bias when we chose our shows. None of us would ever choose to watch Bridgerton, but it is regarded as a good show. So we had to include it for the people.
We did it for you.
Because that is the kind of hosts we are.
Yes.
Well,
We're always
even
thinking of you.
Even though you're most likely wrong, we still.
Yes. And I have a feeling Barry is going to blow Bridgerton out of the water. But let's hear, what's the poll say?
this is our closest match in your round so far. This
Are you
is
serious?
19 for Barry, 14 for Bridgerton.
Whoa!
Wow.
You look out! Look out!
Oh. Well, yeah, I don't. I mean, Barry wins. Right?
Barry's so
The
good.
people
Yeah.
have spoken.
The people have spoken. Hey, my wife watched Bridgerton. She liked it.
Same.
Joe and
Yeah.
his wife watched Bridgerton. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think I remember Joe saying he watched it. I think they liked it. I don't
Yeah.
know. But Barry is just. I mean, I know you've seen it, Nick. Chad, Dad, have either of you guys watched Barry?
No.
No.
Good time. 20-minute episodes.
Oh, it's great. It's funny. It's intense. We have
Unique
Bill
story.
Hader. I mean, just listen to the story, okay? Bill Hader is an ex-military hitman from Cleveland, Ohio, who gets sent to LA for a job. While he's there, discovers he loves acting and tries to switch
the
up his
switch.
life and become an actor while
But-
also being a hitman.
Yep.
It is super funny. The not funny, the serious, emotional and intense moments are well executed, serious, emotional, and intense. And the funny parts are hysterical. NoHo Hank is maybe in top 10 characters of TV shows period for me. So funny.
Especially
the-
supporting character.
Oh,
He's up there
yeah.
with Bobby and Vera from Mr. Robot.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. NoHo Hank is responsible for so many legendary gifs. Like I use NoHo Hank gifs all the time at work, and it's amazing.
Have you seen Gotham, Chad?
Yes, I have.
He's
Victor Zsasz.
He's Victor Zsasz. And
Oh, okay.
Same look and feel and awesomeness as Victor Zsasz.
Dude. But yeah, go watch Barry. It's great. It's a short watch. We got 3 seasons. I think 4 is coming soon. Barry is winning. I mean, come on. It's just not even a contest. Match 6, actually, according to the poll, is very much a contest. Match 6. Okay, so this one I feel like I'm going to be talking to a brick wall because I feel like you guys probably have seen neither, and our audience probably has seen neither.
I've seen Raised by Wolves until the Jesus Mormons come.
Okay. So we'll talk about Raised by Wolves first because Nick has seen it, and there's some saddening news that we need to talk about that I think is kind of going to help play a part in determining this matchup. But yeah, why don't you explain kind of the premise of Raised by Wolves, Nick?
Yeah, so Raised by Wolves, there are these androids that are off in space, and they land on this planet, and their purpose is to raise these children for some unknown purpose. I didn't get that far into the series, but eventually these space Mormons show up and kind of start causing trouble in their little settlement. So the macro understanding of it, I don't really know. I only got like 4 episodes in, but it is cool, and it's definitely sci-fi, and it also is kind of got this like kind of like a vintage, kind of old school practical sci-fi look to it. It's very grounded, and even the androids aren't like they go far to make it a point that like these are robots with very low emotional intelligence, but they are raising these human children.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely an interesting sci-fi spin.
Yeah. So pretty much like, I mean, you're not wrong. There was a war that basically ended life on Earth, like the ability to live on planet Earth between the Space Mormons and AI. And the droids that we're following in the show land on this planet, and their purpose is to basically like restart the human race on this planet. It's a very interesting concept. Ridley Scott is involved in it. It's a cool sci-fi story. But like in terms of sci-fi stories, it's like not mind-blowing, nothing to write home about. It's like, on the upper end of like average. Visually looks great though. And I think it, acted well, and the premise is really cool. Wayne, on the other hand, 1 season, Prime Original, still holding out hope that we may get a 2nd season, but I mean it aired in 2019, so probably not going to happen.
Nice.
But this is but androids aren't wolves at all. I mean, you got a point there, but you had me at Space Mormons. That is such a great
Space Mormons.
Like ever since that popped up in The Expanse, that's just what
Yeah.
you call like religious spacefaring people. They're just Space Mormons. But in The Expanse, they are literally Space Mormons.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you first said that about The Expanse, I laughed and I was like, oh no, that's actually what they call them.
I'm not making a funny, like they are legit Space Mormons.
But yeah,
got them bags of coins. They're rich.
Yeah, Wayne here is a great coming of age tale. One of those coming of age high school teenager, like growing up, discovering who they are type story. Wayne, a 16-year-old with a heart of gold, sets out on a small 2-stroke road bike from Boston to Florida with his new friend Dell to get back the 79 Trans Am that was stolen from his father. This show is super funny, very gritty, and just has amazing performances by Mark McKenna and Ciara Bravo, who are the 2 main characters, Wayne and Dell. We have did we ever figure out what insurance company the Dell's dad is from the show? He's like the guy in all the
Allstate,
the chaos guy. He's in the
Mayhem.
show. He's the girl's dad. He's hysterical.
Mr. Mayhem or something.
Yeah, Mayhem. That's it. Mayhem, like me. It's brought to you by the writers of Deadpool, so it's got that kind of humor and style to it, visually presented very well. But I feel like nobody's seen this show. What I'm going to move forward, Wayne, regardless of the poll, and you guys haven't really seen much, but based on one, the sheer awesomeness of Wayne, but two, the news that HBO canceled Raised by Wolves, and on top of that, they removed it from their platform. So I went to go watch season 2, and I couldn't find it on there, and I was like, I literally just saw this on here like a week ago. Where did it go?
You hate to
Did
see
a little
it.
Google, and there's yeah, we canceled it, and not only that, we one-upped ourselves, it's no longer accessible on our platform.
Yeah, so we can
Bizarre.
kind of chalk that up to the equivalent of some players on this team, star players, just kind of got busted for drugs or they murdered somebody. So they're there's some exterior from the tournament reasons why they probably just aren't going to win.
Yeah.
But they did lose the poll. Raised by Wolves got 19 against Wayne's 14.
Yeah, we're still going to move Wayne forward unless you guys have any real objections to that.
I think the premise that you said, Raised by Wolves, is kind of very uninspired. It is kind of your typical sci-fi.
Yeah,
trip.
this was a great example because so Dad and I were talking one night. We're like, how do we compare some of these categories for these shows when they're in two completely different opposite genres, or genres that aren't even relatable at all? And we came up with compare whatever category it may be against shows of its genre. So if you're comparing Wayne to other coming of age tales, it blows those shows out of the water. When you compare Raised by Wolves to these type of sci-fi shows, it's aggressively mediocre. So based on that,
and canceled, and you can't watch it on HBO Max anymore.
But that's kind of that. I don't chalk that up to the show being bad. I chalk that up to the whole merger of WB and Discovery. And this wasn't the only casualty that we've had in recent weeks of we gotta cut some money here because this is starting to get way more expensive than we anticipated. But yeah, it's still not a good look. So we're gonna move Wayne on. He's gonna hop on that bike and move on to round 2. We got 2 more matches in Division Mike, then we're gonna head down to Division Nick. This is the hardest matchup in my division by far, hands down. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, and either way, I'm gonna be heartbroken. But I'm happy because I think all of us have seen one or both of these shows. Chad, did you ever watch Andor?
I did not, but I've watched Ozark.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's better than the rest of the matchups, I guess. I'll take one. Nick, what was the poll? I don't even know if I'm ready for this.
Andor took the W for 18 to Ozark's 15.
Oh,
so
wow.
a narrow
15.
3-point win for Andor.
That was like a buzzer beater, tie game. Cassian's coming down court, and he just jacks up one of those half court
Diego Luna.
I agree with that. And me putting Andor over Ozark is 51 to 49% of my vote. It is super close. But again, I'm going to use the same argument with Wayne. What Andor does for Star Wars shows, I don't see Ozark doing for the drug crime dramas. What are your thoughts, guys? Let's hear them. I want to hear them.
Chad, what do you got? You got thoughts? I saw it.
I think Ozark is very good. I can't really speak to this too much though because I haven't seen Andor, and I know that's a big flub on my part. Because
what about how do you think Ozark stands up against the other drug crime dramas?
I mean, can you name a couple other ones? Are there that many drug crime?
Narcos,
Breaking Bad, shows of that sort.
Yeah, I think it's up there with Breaking Bad. I think Breaking Bad probably did it first, so it gets that like check mark. But I think Bateman in a serious role is he's really good in these serious roles. He's very good in the show.
Yeah,
dude.
There's a lot of twists and
Crushes it as a
turns.
director. Like he
Yeah.
directed most of these, if not all of these episodes, and just destroys. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, my vote would go for Ozark, obviously, because I haven't seen Andor, and I know you guys are mad in love with Andor, so I'm not going to be hurt either way.
Dad, thoughts?
I have not seen Ozark, but from everything that I've seen, like trailer wise and all that, and everything that I've heard, it's an amazing show. Bateman, he kind of sells it. But I loved Andor too. I'm split with this one. I can't, even not seeing Ozark, I'm still kind of split.
Cast a vote.
All right.
You got to give your thoughts first, and then we'll cast a vote.
Oh, but Chad's already voted. Okay, fine. My thoughts?
Give me some time to think.
Yeah, so I'm going to go against my better judgment or my better bias. And I like to say Ozark should probably win this. Because Ozark 1 is a solid 5-season hitter with a definitive beginning end. It was a really good show. There was not much about that show I didn't like. I don't even know if there's anything I didn't like in that show. And it was strong from the beginning to the end. I think some people were flippant about the end anyways, but that's what you're going to have with shows.
Yeah.
No one likes it when a show ends. It's just, I'd take anyone's gripes about a series at the end. I just kind of disregard unless it's like absolutely atrocious and unforgivable. But
yeah, and I'm in favor of kind of Ozark in this situation. Because while Andor is like phenomenal, there was kind of like a failure to launch across the board with that more than like it should have. Like obviously I think it should be the best like revered Disney Plus live action Star Wars show, period. But it didn't still land with everyone. Like Chad hasn't seen it.
That's true.
There's plenty of people that I know have seen it and they didn't like it. They couldn't get into it. And like there's an issue there. Where I think
I should clarify that that's what happened to me. I mean, I watched 3 episodes, couldn't get into it, and just let it kind of fizzle out.
We got comments coming in. Civ says, "Bull, Ozark for the win." Ozark. Joe Cross gave me some carrots, but I'm guessing he's agreeing with the above comment. And then Civ says, "I liked Ozark over Weeds, Breaking Bad, and the such." I mean, that's very true. Joe says, "I watched the first 2 episodes of Andor." Yeah, I will say, okay, so Andor premiered with 3 episodes at once, and a lot of the complaints were the slow pace, but I think that comes with the genre of like espionage thriller, and I don't think people were exactly expecting that from Andor, given all of the cookie cut. I say this not as a derogatory thing, but it's going to sound derogatory. It didn't follow the cookie cutter Star Wars mold, right, of stories and how they progress.
Yeah.
This was very different, which gave it a 1-up for me. But I also like this style, and it's telling the story leading up to my favorite Star Wars movie. So like we know where it's going, and it's got that Mr. Robot vibe of like it knows its destination, so its way there will be like no filler, executed well, because it knows where it's starting and it has an already defined endpoint. With that being said, Ozark is so freaking good. It even utilizes my favorite color in every episode because they have this crazy like blue filter on everything, and I love it. So it's like just that subliminal, like it's gonna hook me because I love blue.
They did
Ozark now, and it's so hard. Ozark
Bateman is so good, and I think like to Chad's point, in a serious role, he's amazing. But I would almost say that like he's not really acting any different than he does in comedies. It's just the environment around him and the story is so bleak and serious that like it's just that style of Bateman's like character
Yeah.
just works with this too.
Yeah,
because
it's
he
so
still
good,
is
dude.
that dry, witty,
That
like,
dry, I
sense of
love it.
humor,
Yeah.
but it has a completely different tone because of everything
Everything
that's
around
going
him,
on
yeah.
around him.
Yeah.
I have a crazy like fan theory, conspiracy theory, which we need to get episode 2 of that, Nick, sometime, because that was a really fun episode.
Let's vote.
I think
do we need a vote?
I think Ozark is just
I think we need
an
a vote.
extension of Arrested Development. Like that's the same character, Jason Bateman's character. Marty Bird is just his character from Arrested Development, changed his name. Now he's laundering money. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Is Ozark winning? I feel like that's where we're going with this.
Yep.
Are we voting? I think that's
Mike,
where we're going. Yeah.
Mike,
yeah.
what's your vote?
I vote for Andor, but again, it's like 50.5% to 49.5%.
Yeah, it's a Ozark for me all the way.
Dad.
Ozark, and not even seeing it.
Well, that's the poll and 2 votes. I mean, I think it's gonna be hard to pass that up, right?
Well, Ozark lost in the poll.
Oh,
Yeah.
and we got Civ and Joe here in the comments on the
Yeah.
stream. They're chiming in for Ozark, I think. What do you got, Nick?
Yeah.
Rests on you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna I think the removing bias. I think I'll throw it to Ozark, even though I have a big bias for Ozark, but I also have a lot of bias for Andor. But yeah, flip that one to Ozark.
Hey man, that was a tough match. I was really dreading getting to this one, honestly, because that hurts, but also I'm happy because I know an excellent show moved forward. But that brings us to our last matchup in my division, and this one is not even close. It does. I mean, like the other ones that I said, like made me a little sad. This one is like makes me the least sad. But I did like Foundation, but it's going up against our number 2 seed here, Arcane, a League of Legends story on Netflix. Foundation over on Apple TV Plus. It's our number 15 seed. It's a really interesting sci-fi tale. I would say much better than Raised by Wolves.
He looks like a space Mormon.
He does.
He was in The Expanse. Just saying. No, really, really cool story. I highly recommend it. Also, Apple TV is ridiculously cheap. If you don't have it, you should get it. It's only like $6, maybe $7 a month, and they are really, really pumping out some great shows on Apple TV. So please check it out. But Arcane League of Legends blows this one completely like out of this world. It's not even close. What does the poll say though?
25 scores 25-8 for Arcane.
For Foundation.
And that's because Arcane is truly like an animated genre bending debut for an IP, and all you can just go down the list. Like it just checked all the boxes and destroyed it.
It gets my vote, obviously, because I am a huge League of Legends stan, but
Huge.
It was League of Legends content that Nick liked, and like not only did he like, but he was like he really liked it. And I was like, okay, this is the greatest show ever. It got Nick to like League of Legends.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, Nick, I think like it just having not watched much anime, I will say that, but from what I've heard from anime fans who have watched Arcane, it just hit on a different level. It did a lot of cool. The animation style alone is absolutely gorgeous. Their use of colors is brilliant. And of course we got, stories from my favorite game universe, probably, which that's a whole other story. The fact that they were able to tell such a compelling story from a game that literally has no in-game narrative. It's a pure multiplayer game, but the fact that Riot is able to establish such amazing lore and such amazing universe in League of Legends without having any narrative in their game is amazing.
I wonder if you'd be this hyped about Pokemon if there was a Pokemon show on your bracket.
It would have to be really freaking good.
Dude, there's a lot of really good Pokemon anime for sure.
I'm
have
reading.
Have you seen Detective Pikachu?
I did
assume you
actually
have.
just
Okay.
I just borrowed that from the library like 2 weeks ago and I loved it.
Dude, phenomenal. The only
So good.
Reading this manga right now, Pokemon
oh, look at
Adventures.
you!
Dude.
My
This is so
goodness,
good.
I'm so
He's-
freaking
He's
proud
so
of you.
he's so
Yeah,
proud.
dude.
Look
I'm
at
so freaking proud of you.
Chad,
Is it?
your eyes just lit up like I've never seen them before.
Yeah,
Never
it's
seen that
pure
much life
enjoyment
in
I just
Chad.
got out of that. Never thought I'd even hear you say that word, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
dude.
Yeah.
Somebody made a really cool fan game that tells this story, and I started playing it, and I was like, "Well, it's a really cool story. I'm gonna go find that book." And then I did, and I was
Did
like,
you have
"This is
trouble adjusting to the reading of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's definitely different,
Yeah.
but cool.
But yeah, you guys, if you haven't watched Arcane, you need to go watch it. It moves on to round 2, no questions asked. But with that being said, hey, we're done with Mike's division, so we're heading over to Nick. So introduce us here to matchup number 1, sir.
Holy moly. Yeah, once everything stops moving in the backstage here.
There we go.
Good Lord. All right. So my first matchup here was Chernobyl, number 1 seed in my bracket, against 9 Perfect Strangers being number 16 seed. Poll here was 29-4 for Chernobyl. So I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One, Chernobyl is just like a knockout show. Fantastic show. Has our boy in it. Always forget his name. Mike will remember it.
Bobby
And-
Cannavale.
No,
Our boy. Oh, I thought you were talking about 9 Perfect Strangers.
no, it's not about Chernobyl.
Yeah,
Bobby. Yeah, he's
Space
in-
Mormon Foundation guy.
Yeah.
I always forget his name.
Expand,
But we love
all
that
that
guy.
stuff.
We love him so much we never remember his name.
Yeah.
He's great. But I've seen 9 Perfect Strangers. I don't know if any of you have. It, I'll give it to it. It has a lot of actors in it. It's a good watch. But it's got nowhere to go and nothing to do, and it's kind of like a throwaway, really. So easily going to go with Chernobyl on this first one. So I don't think you guys are going to disagree with that, are you?
No.
No, I love Chernobyl. It's phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good.
So good, dude. That
Is that
first
'cause-
episode, bro. That first episode is so good. Like I
A little
can
bit
just
of firefighter accuracy.
yeah, a
in
little
there.
firefighter action. It's just so good, dude. And it's horrifying too. That first episode is absolutely horrifying. So
And it's basically what's happening in East Palestine, Ohio right now. So
True, yeah,
it's a little
very
prep for our
Yikes.
Northeast Ohio buddies.
Let's get some imagery of Northeast Ohio right now. Boom.
Yeah.
The winner, Chernobyl. Poor East Palestine. Sad. I'd
You
say
never
shout
know.
out, but
You
that
never
might
know.
be too soon for that.
Shout out.
Yeah, it's been said. So, moving on. Congratulations, Chernobyl. Second matchup here. Sweet Tooth 2021 show on Netflix versus Succession, HBO. On HBO. 8 versus 9 seed. Is that always going to work that way? Like how these fall, or is okay? Good. I'm not used to these things. I thought Mike made up the entire idea of the bracket and all that, but nope, it's a real thing. Just kidding.
I just like that your sign behind you now says Nick Wars.
Nick Wars. It's like InfoWars,
It's a
but
nice touch. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
the host, not what's his face.
I love
Um,
it.
I don't
Alex
know.
Jones.
With what I've been talking about lately in Discord, I mean, I might be moving in that direction, like a very more mainstream InfoWars.
What is it? The technocracy?
Yeah. Anyway, Sweet Tooth. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer. It obviously was trending there on Netflix for a hot minute, but it did quickly fall off, and I just don't think. I think it was cool, unique idea. It just didn't like stick the way it ought to have. But like Succession, it's been running for a while, running strong. It's definitely an HBO Max hitter. Very, very atypical HBO kind of drama. And the poll, Succession 22 to Sweet Tooth's 11. Right.
Wow.
So kind of not a blowout, but definitely a heavy 2/3 there against its 1/3.
Yeah.
I don't want to disagree with that. I've seen also the first half of the first season of Succession. It's a show that I want to watch quite a bit more, but they're like full hour long episodes, and that's a commitment there. And there's like 5 seasons.
That's a lot of hours. I've seen the first 3 or 4 episodes of Sweet Tooth. It's a pretty interesting story. For whatever reason, it fell off. My wife and I were watching it, and then we just stopped, and I never got back to it. Visually, it looks really cool. I think it was one of those pandemics. It was like one of the first new series that came out, like in the height of the lockdowns and stuff. And it caught fire really quick, I think, because of that. Because
2021.
It was. I want to say first new series, because when all the COVID stuff happened, theaters and stuff,
That was
productions.
2020 though.
I know, but stuff like got pushed back, got delayed, theaters closed. We didn't really have much new stuff, and then Sweet Tooth comes out on Netflix and gets gobbled up. I mean, just kind of like Tiger King or whatever that dumb show was on Netflix. Like, people gobbled that up because they were craving that new content. All the reactions I saw were positive, but like you said, Nick, it just dropped off, and I don't even know if there's anything coming afterwards. And I don't know. It's hard to, having not seen Succession, just the lineage of HBO shows that this, is in line with. It's hard to argue against, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say Sweet Tooth probably like falls into like an issue of just being way too niche. Whereas like while Succession is niche, it does have a lot of variety in it in terms of like the acting's great, writing's good, family business like drama, not a crime drama, but like a business. They run a media empire, but also the writing is like funny built into the drama because the family dynamics are funny, and there's funny like off maybe like even dark humor in it. So I'm not going to disagree with the poll. I'm going to roll with the poll on this one and call Succession the winner.
Boom.
Nice.
Got some notable people in it too. Can't discount that.
Huh?
Moving
The
on.
one guy on the left behind the redhead kind of looks like could be Peyton Manning's like third brother.
Sure. The one that became an actor.
It's not Eli or Coop.
On to the next one. Next matchup here is Netflix's Narcos, the first Narcos, not Narcos Mexico, and then versus Paramount Plus's more recent Tulsa King. Poll here was 17 for Narcos, 16 for Tulsa King. This is our closest match yet.
One vote
difference between.
I have
these
not
two.
seen either of these, and I'm surprised.
Wow.
That's hard, man. I've seen Narcos. Love that show. Very good. And it does the whole dual thing where you're following the cops, the Americans, down there in the midst of it. I think they're CIA at the time, but this was also during like the birth of I feel like another administration that deals with all that stuff. DEA, yeah, it was the birth of like the DEA and all that stuff. And then over on this side, I've seen some clips and the trailers for Tulsa King. It looks pretty good. I feel like something I would want to watch. I don't really watch a lot of Sylvester Stallone stuff because I feel like it is kind of like the same. Like he's just the same like dude in everything. And he's got this weird like way too much plastic surgery voice.
Yeah, dude, I was about to say.
It bugs me. But it kind of works
fake.
in this.
Very fake looking, yes.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with the poll. I think Narcos is fantastic for. Well, what I like about Narcos is that. So Tulsa King, not very anything different. It's about he gets told by like the New York mob, he gets sent to Tulsa to kind of like take over Tulsa and like the horse racing there, and kind of just starts trying to run Tulsa as like a gangster. Whereas like Narcos, does a fantastic job and something a little different where it, like, tells the story of Pablo Escobar. And it's like it's like a documentary, but completely dramatized because they use footage and actual events and things from that actually happened. So like they do a really good job basically bleeding in the dramatization of it with the real events. Like sometimes it's really spooky how like close they get things, and it has a definitive end because rip Pablo, all that jazz.
What?
Wow, spoiler
What?
alert, dude.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
I agree with you. Like, I haven't seen Tulsa King. I have seen Narcos. I think Narcos is really, really good. I think they're also doing like the spin-offs are really good as well.
Yeah.
Is
Diego
there
Luna,
Narcos Colombia
Mexico.
or Mexico? Yeah, Mexico.
Colombia's coming, I think.
So the Mexico one tells the story of a DEA agent that was kidnapped and murdered by the cartel. And I followed that. There's like a 90s movie that I like made for TV movie about this that I watched all the time. So I was super amped when this came out that it was actually getting like a good treatment.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really screwed up story, but really good story. So yeah, Narcos for the win, I think.
Also, one of the original series, 2015.
Yeah, pretty early.
That's old.
Yeah.
And top notch. Even all the actors look like their real life counterparts. They do photos at the end, and it's spooky as well. Phenomenal show. Phenomenal. So yeah, we'll give that one the Narcos. There he is, Pablo, the man, the myth. Moving on. What do we got next? Oh no, not this one.
Oh, geez.
Man, we've got Netflix's original Mike Flanagan series, The Haunting of Hill House.
The one that started it all.
Speaking of that being an anthology, Narcos is kind of becoming like a series anthology of just drug dealers and drug cartels. So kind of a cool concept there, but it is all progressive. Anyways, versus one of Prime's actual kind of like originals, The Man in the High Castle, started in 2015. The poll, 18 for Hill House, 15 for High Castle.
Wow, that was close.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised that High Castle pulled this because I don't know many people that have seen it. I've seen both of these shows. I like them both. They're obviously very different, with Hill House being a horror anthology series, the first in it by Mike Flanagan. Absolutely love Hill House. Like it's a season of something that I would watch again, and I have watched again. It's both scary, well written, and just like a good show, and kind of like a little bit of a thriller. Whereas Man in High Castle is a alternate history piece. Basically, it's about there's these books that like exist that kind of rewrote history, and there's like two different kind of like not dimensions, but like alternate realities, and the main reality kind of exists in it is this one where the Nazis won the war. They took over America. Basically, the East Coast, the eastern seaboard of America, is controlled by Nazi Germany. And then the West Coast is owned by the Japanese. And there's kind of like a no man's land in between where like American rebels exist. And it's all about smuggling these reels of this other reality to kind of like reveal the truth. Super fascinating, based on a book or series of books, but also really good. The trick with that one is that probably the first season is like a little bit on the lower budget side. Definitely not going to land with everyone, and you got to really kind of pay attention, be invested in that niche of information to like it. Whereas Hill House, I mean, everyone loves Hill House.
Yeah. I would agree with you on the Hill House. I think Man in the High Castle is really good too. As far as like, I mean, it probably takes the cake as far as world building goes.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on around the world that they built. If the Nazis had won World War II, just little things here and there, like, you know, they're ordering sake cocktails because the Japanese won, and that's their alcohol and stuff. Little things like that. It's just really cool. But I mean, this is a tough matchup because Hill House is just so damn good, you know.
So good.
Yeah. It's Hill House is great because it's just a family drama that has some scary stuff in it.
Right.
Like if you remove the horror aspect of Hill House, it's still a fantastic show. And you don't get that much in the horror genre.
No.
So I just think that, and I haven't seen The Man in the High Castle, so I can't really weigh in. Other than I think the quality of the one season of Hill House that you get is just so high.
Yeah, I agree. And it's got some of the best like hidden ghosts in anything that I've
Oh,
ever seen in
yeah.
my life. Like some of them
Yeah.
are like so in your face, you totally miss them. But when you go back, you're like, how did I miss the 10 ghosts standing behind the staircase at the opening scene, you know?
Well, and
So
don't they have is the one episode in the funeral home, is that a one-shot episode, or just does it feature a very long one-shot
It
scene? Because it's really cool.
I believe they do have like the middle part of that show is like episode is like a one shot.
That episode.
So I remember
is
reading
phenomenal.
something about how they did the camera dance
Yeah.
to like pick that all up.
Yeah,
So
great series. If I would have to obviously cast my vote for Hill House because I haven't seen the other, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I would make a much stronger case for High Castle if it wasn't up against Hill House.
yeah.
That's the tough part here, but hearing none for the objection to the poll winning, so
Hill House.
we'll give it the Hill House. If you haven't seen that, I
Yeah.
recommend going and watching it.
Go watch it. I really want to watch High Castle though.
You
It's
definitely
good.
should.
It's good.
What's it on again?
Prime.
Prime. Nice.
Prime.
Nice. Well, hey, we're scooting right along.
Oh yeah, we got places to go.
Right.
End of this
Bed.
tournament. Bed.
Bed.
My fifth match here. This one's interesting. This one's interesting.
Is this one
It is-
interesting?
Yeah, it's 2016. It's 2016's The Crown on Netflix, which is on its fifth season. Just wrapped.
Features
recently.
our favorite Space Mormon Foundation atomic reactor guy.
Spoiler: first 4 episodes of the whole series.
Aw,
So
dang.
sorry, rip.
Rip.
One of these days we'll learn his name.
Yeah.
But like
I
now
like-
it's
I
to
like
the
our
point
name for
where
him.
it's been such a running thing now that like I refuse to look it up because
Yeah.
I mean I could, but I mean I haven't, so I'm not going to.
The Crown on Netflix versus Loki on Disney Plus here. The poll. This is crazy. This is wild. I did not see this coming at all. 25 for Loki, 8 for The Crown.
Ho, 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 ho.
I mean,
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, I did see that coming. I didn't think the Crown stood a
Really?
chance. I would have been more
Man.
surprised if even if it was a narrow victory for the Crown in the poll, I would have been shocked.
So here's my stance on this one. For the same reasons, I went Ozark against Andor. I believe we should go The Crown against Loki. Because The Crown is a phenomenal, magnificent writing. And it isn't, I think where people misunderstand this show is it's not really about the royal family or the queen. It's about the passage of time. Simply that concept. You have one thing that exists longer than like any of us straight up have existed.
Right.
And it's really about the royal family, the queen, and how they deal with the times that change around them. Like they've been around a long time, and it's crazy because it's a historical period piece through several periods. Every 2 seasons is a different period piece as they hit like the 50s, and then they hit like 60s, 70s, and currently the show runs up into the 90s. So it's a great time capsule for the passage of our past 80 years on this planet. So totally awesome show. And I think 25 Responses for Loki is pure just everyone's favorite Marvel show because they like Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
I think Loki definitely is riding the coattails of being on Disney, being a Marvel product, and then on top of that, being a Loki centric piece. Um, Having not seen The Crown, I probably would still be okay with The Crown winning.
Yeah, I think I would be as well.
So Loki also is a story about time because you have the time police.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Oh yeah.
Well,
No,
plus
it's about time, but not the passage of time.
well,
Well,
kind of
until the end.
the passage and restoration and strength and solidity of the timeline.
Nonsensical timeline.
I will say the thing that Loki does have going for it would be the world building, because it introduces the next big bad of the current MCU phase, and that's Kang, the Conqueror. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Loki, he shows up at the end. And really cool villain. He's going to be the new big bad, and on top of that, the things that Loki does, much like WandaVision broke the cookie cutter mold of Marvel products in its presentation and premise, Loki saw that and was like, "Hey, hold my whatever mead flask." I don't know, and kind of took that breaking out of the box to the next level with the weird timeline stuff and all the crazy visual, the variants and all that stuff. Still, all that being said, I probably am certain that The Crown is still a better show than Loki.
Okay.
Dad's the only one.
I think we got our answer.
I don't have to vote.
Dad's mad.
Oh,
mad Dad.
And I didn't even talk about the cast or the acting quality in The Crown. I'll save that for later.
Yeah. Hold on.
By the
here.
way,
Good stuff.
Our favorite actor's name's Jared Harris.
You mean Matt Smith?
No, I mean Jared Harris.
We're on to our new favorite actor, Matt Smith here. He's going to show up again. Don't you worry. This isn't the last you'll see Matt Smith. He'll be back. But yeah, awesome. Thank you for The Crown winning this round.
That's
That
going to
makes me
be
feel
really
better.
spicy. I'm just throwing it out there. We might get some pushback for this.
Oh,
Might
that's
get some
fine. I'm fine with it. We're gonna get pushback for Andor. Come on.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll.
I was
going
gonna
to
say, is that the first one we've?
Ozark.
But it's not. It's not the first because Andor won that poll, right?
Yeah.
So that's the second.
Oh,
one,
I did
maybe.
another one. I forget which one.
Did
see,
you?
Look
Okay.
here. See, we already got angry viewers out there. Jeez.
Yeah, but he like he said earlier,
Yeah,
he
make
had
this
issues.
guy happy. Come on.
He had issues when we did our Star Wars power ranking.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah,
true.
where's that
I think
comment?
we nailed that, to be honest.
This is what he said earlier. This is more painful to watch than the Star Wars ranking episode.
Hey, do you know what pain is? The truth hurts. Man.
Yeah,
the
it
truth
does.
hurts. That's what we deliver around here.
I
is
stand
nothing but-
firmly behind our Star Wars ranking.
Oh yeah.
Same. That's good ranking. All right. So what we got here? What matchup are we on now?
Oh, boom. Okay, this one. I don't know. This one
Matchup
a little bit
6.
almost like the last one. I'm a little less passionate about these two, but I think it's a very cool matchup. We have The Handmaid's Tale on Netflix, number 3 seed, by the way, versus Disney Plus's Moon Knight, number 14 seed. Handmaid's Tale, still an ongoing series. I think they wrapped season 5 in 2022. And then Moon Knight being obviously a one and done as far as we're aware and we know, but obviously ties to the much wider MCU. Though I think that was a little bit of a complaint to it, is that it didn't really. It's kind of like as far as they, the way they set it up, it could be a standalone, right? It doesn't do a lot of tying into the rest of the MCU directly. Poll, Handmaid's Tale for 18 and Moon Knight for 15. So pretty close there. 3-point spread on that one.
Honestly, having not seen The Handmaid's Tale, I would be perfectly okay with it beating Moon Knight. I think my overall opinion on the MCU series, they're good in terms of the superhero genre, but like if you match that up against a quality series of any other genre, I would almost always pick the other show. They still got a ways to go, these superhero shows, particularly the MCU ones. I think what we saw from Peacemaker is like a step that the superhero shows need to go in, and I'm really excited for the new DCU series that we're going to get on HBO, like particularly the Lanterns one, the True Detective but Green Lantern style. Like I think that's got a really good promise, but the MCU has been fizzling out for me. I think for us as showboys as a whole, they're just
I think
yeah
I think
gotta
the
do
issue
something.
the issue there, and you kind of like almost hit on it, is when whether it be Star Wars or MCU, right? When you're so baked into a specific genre, I guess, when they go to do something different with these series, they try to like step out and be like, we're going to do something crazy different like with this series, but it's so on brand with just being just a superhero adaptation of insert other genre. Whereas I mean, Handmaid's Tale and series like it are serious adaptations of otherwise serious books, well written, full of drama. And what you said about Peacemaker is what was great about Peacemaker is superhero, yes, but the heart of the show was not a superhero on brand show by any means. It had like superhero elements, but that wasn't the driving force of the show. Whereas like Moon Knight, like it's about Moon Knight, right? Doing Moon Knight things. Same thing with like Loki. It's about Loki doing Tom Hiddleston Loki things. 100%. Like there's nothing really much else going on there.
Yeah.
And then you get the boom Marvel reveal at the end. Phase 10, whatever, you know? So
yeah. I want to say, just to play devil's advocate,
sure.
you know, where this is basketball themed, a big topic of contention in the NBA oftentimes is MVP voting. And, you know, people like LeBron or Kobe or Michael Jordan or Giannis and now like Joker now not winning 3 MVPs because of voter fatigue. Like the media and the writers are like, they've already won 2. Like they don't need another one. Let's give it to someone else. I would almost want to say that these new MCU products are kind of getting the voter fatigue for us. But to build off what you said, Nick, like they do things in WandaVision and Loki and Moon Knight that you can clearly tell they're trying to like break out of that mold. But like you said, they still keep that same tone. And then usually by the end of the show, they revert all of the stuff that they tried to do right back into the lane. Like,
yep.
Like they just kind of went left of center a little bit, and then they're like, "Oh crap! All right, let's get back in the lane here."
Too dangerous.
Yeah. But a show like Peacemaker fully embraces the wacky nature of the show, right, and doesn't apologize for it. Our buddy Reddy, this is Reddy, by the way. If you watch the D&D streams, he was killing us on Sunday. He says, "I like Moon Knight in general. I like the comic book and stuff." I'm sure the comic's cool. I think the premise of Moon Knight is really interesting, but the Marvel product is just so conformed to its template that even when they try to do cool things, it just still goes right into that template.
And that's what Moon Knight had going for it. It was a cool adaptation of a cool character, right, in Marvel. Like that was fun and awesome to do. And then the first half of WandaVision, also very awesome things they did. But like you said, the perfect way to put it. they very quickly are like, all right, we got to get back on brand here. Otherwise, like, this is too risky for us.
Yeah.
Insert typical humor, typical
Yeah.
tied to everything.
Which is why, not to go down this rabbit hole and derail the entire episode, because we're only halfway through and we got a lot to get through still. But this is what Batman vs Superman suffered from. It went out of its lane and stayed out of its lane, and then people are like, "What is this? This isn't in the Marvel lane. We can't have this." And then, well, now Warner Brothers is owned by Discovery, and none of the DCEU people have jobs anymore. So,
Womp, womp, womp.
So sad.
but yeah. Anyways, so Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, give me that win. Put that dub up.
Bam,
Boom.
bam! Look at that fresh pick.
Man, the Elizabeth Moss just like death stare. If you want to see more of that, she does it in everything. Go watch the show. They put it in every other episode.
Yes. Yes, they do.
They lean into it hard.
Reddy wants to know if his dad is still in D&D. You'll have to ask Joe that. He's the DM, my friend. I hope so. I hope he's still there. That'd be quite sad for you if he wasn't. 2 more matchups here, Nick. Let's go. We got matchup 7. I don't think this is
Matchup
gonna be
7.
close.
Man, we have
At
the
least in
Prime
our
Original.
hearts.
Yeah. We have the Prime Original, Sneaky Pete, against honorary Prime Original, The Expanse. So obviously this was originally on Sci-Fi. Whatever reason they dropped it, and Prime was like, "Nah, that's a dumb idea. We're gonna take that." So for better or
Breaking
worse,
our own rules here, aren't we?
just a tad. Just a
I think
tad.
this one's a little different because the show is kind of canceled, right? And then Prime picked it up and revived it,
Yeah.
as opposed to just taking a show that was existing and being like, "No, that's ours now."
Yeah, because it was completely dropped, and then they completely took ownership of it and then continued it. There's a few narrow misses in here, Chad. We can break the rules sometimes. It's our show.
And Nick
If
just
you were here for the
illegitimized
show
our
draft-
entire month of March.
Yeah, I'll never miss another show draft in my life, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Somehow the Chosen snuck in The Expanse.
Don't
Well.
hate. Don't hate.
Well. Hey, don't worry. You got your
Yeah, you've
main
got your
horse.
freaking
Yeah, I'm sitting comfortable over here.
golden
Yeah,
goose
yeah,
over
don't
there.
I'm
you
sitting comfortable
worry.
over here.
Don't you worry. Anyway, man, I've seen both of these. Have you guys seen?
I've not watched
Both
Sneaky
of
Pete,
these.
no.
I have
Okay.
not watched Sneaky Pete either.
No. Not
Okay.
Sneaky Pete for me.
If you like Giovanni Ribisi, Sneaky Pete's good. It doesn't. If you don't like him, don't watch it.
Yeah,
because
not a
it's all
fan.
Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, not a fan of him.
So it's super niche. He's just basically a con man, and then he cons his way. He has to get out of town, goes into like a rural town, and like pretends to be someone else, and gets involved in all the drama that comes with pretending to be someone else. In a rural town full of rural small town drama, versus The Expanse.
Space Mormons.
Space Mormons, like
Yes.
actual named, they're Space Mormons. Like that's what they are. We're not making that up. Fantastic show. Based off series of books where each season has a different theme, right? The first one is very much I can never say this word. Chad, say it for me. Noir.
Noir.
Noir. Yeah.
Is a detective noir, which is fantastic. But each season takes on a different theme. Generally, it's about the solar system and roughly like 300 years. And there's Earth, right? That's basically like the UN. We got the independent people of Mars, and then we have the Belters. Has a bunch of awesome, like, been in a ton of thing actors, and
That one
it's a
guy.
fun ride.
It's in The Crown.
The
and-
one guy.
No, just kidding. Jared Harris.
Um,
His name's Jared,
Jared
Harris. I
Harris.
looked it up.
Jared Harris, yeah. The thing about The Expanse is its accuracy to like science fact, like how things actually work physics wise in space, and how they're able to make this like slow, otherwise boring like physics of space like super like nerve-wracking and
Yeah.
full of drama is awesome. plus like there's just some mind bendy stuff in there, and it's just a fun ride. Like they don't really double down on anything too much.
Space
They're always doing
politics,
something
super
different.
cool.
Yeah, space politics. Star Wars invented them. Everyone hated them for it, but now we love it.
Yeah, right.
Nah,
So the poll-
I've been getting the itch to revisit The Expanse.
Really?
Like it's a cool world that they built out in there. Like it is. It's something else.
movie. Oh yeah, the factions, all that stuff. Anyway, The Expanse 23-10 on Sneaky Pete. I think this is just simply The Expanse is awesome. It's more popular and seen than Sneaky Pete. This is kind of like a Prime sleeper. Like if you're digging around Prime, you'll find it. It's popular one there. One of their early originals as well. But I have no reason to discount the poll on this one, and
Same.
I'd say we give it to the Expanse.
I agree. Fun fact: I've had Chernobyl's IMDb page up this whole time, and it's playing through all Jared Harris's roles. He was in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, he's in
Jeez.
everything.
Dude gets around, huh? He's been on like 7 shows we've talked about
Dude,
so
I'm
far.
telling you, dude, he's literally in everything. I can never remember his name.
Yeah.
He's so good. So good.
All right, I feel like your final matchup here, Nick, is going to be a real spicy one, and I am
Okay.
not joking. I say
Okay.
that with all seriousness.
I don't know how we get through this one, but we have Netflix's 2021 Made at my number 2 seed in my bracket. Look out, against my number 15 seed, and that's the Prime original, Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. I don't know where to begin, other than I've seen Rings of Power. I have not seen Made, other than as I walked through the living room when my wife watched it. Looks super good, very serious, touched on some pretty deep subject matter. Basically, a single mom working as a maid, trying to deal with life and trying to keep custody of her kid, be a good mother, not be poor, all the
And
above. I believe there's a little bit of
very abusive relationship.
abusive relation. Is there like a little bit of addiction in there, or am I thinking of Euphoria? Definitely
No,
Euphoria is full
I
of
don't think
addiction.
there's
Definitely
addiction.
Euphoria.
And then honestly, we have, I don't think I have to say anything about the Rings of Power. Everyone on the planet had to deal with or enjoyed that quite thoroughly. You know, in the poll, what did the poll say? Well, this is the issue. We have Made at the number 2 seed, whereas Lord of the Rings got 21 against Made's 12. So
So here's a comment from Discord user Rachel. Shout out.
shout out.
She was talking about the bracket in her Discord, her podcast Discord. What the Finance, by the way, double shout out. She said, Made in Lord of the Rings, tough decision here. She said, although with those last two, I picked Lord of the Rings because I actually finished the season. Made is a tough watch. Not in a bad way, as in like challenging because of the content. The writers did such a phenomenal job laying out the question, why didn't you just leave? So awful for folks experiencing partner violence. Again, having not watched the entire series from beginning to end, just watching large chunks while my wife was watching, and I'm like passing through a room, and then I'd sit down and I ended up watching like 25 minutes of an episode. Made is probably one of the bleakest shows outside of like Black Mirror. It is a very tough watch, but in like the best ways, because it's very challenging content. The writing is phenomenal, and the main actress there really just crushes that role. And I think as a whole like package, I would vote Made over Rings of Power, having seen all of Rings of Power. I think in our review of Rings of Power, I described it as aggressively mediocre. And I think, it's lack of exposure for Made that caused that the poll result. Plus, much like the MCU, Rings of Power is just riding the waves of coming from the Lord of the Rings IP, products there. But yeah, what do you guys think? Dad, you got opinions?
He's in pain.
I'm in a lot of pain right now. I can't. Don't make me decide. Please don't make me choose.
Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power won the poll, but Mike's making the argument that Made is clearly the better show.
I mean,
What
just
say
look
you,
at just based off the
And it's an
average
upset. Look at-
overall rating.
Yeah.
I mean, it came in at a 2 seed.
But just like in college basketball, there are upsets.
And it's not going to be this one. I'll be putting my foot down for that.
Veto.
You're for Made then?
I'm for
or
Made,
Chad? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Chad's full
also
on
Just
Made.
solely based on my pure, unhinged hatred of Rings of Power.
This was supposed to be unbiased. Unbiased.
It is
Chad.
unbiased. It's
but he's
totally unbiased.
unhinged.
I haven't even seen Made. How's it? I'm unbiased. towards Made.
Unhinged overrides the unbiased nature of it. Like,
Right.
Okay.
You're
all
allowed
right,
to unhinge
all
for
right.
one thing, I guess.
Okay,
That's the
all
new
right.
rule.
You get one unhinged.
Unhinged
One
moment.
card.
unhinged.
I'm just the average overall rating for Made 86.7. That's pretty solid. I cannot believe this is even watch Made, unless you're saying that Rings of Power shouldn't be in the discussion. Yeah,
Dude, I didn't
don't-
even know anybody actually enjoyed Rings of Power, to be honest with you. Like, I've
I
not
thought-
talked to a single person
you know,
that thought
I
it
thought-
was.
There were
Yeah,
parts
the
that were
mediocre
enjoyable.
comment like really does hold true. Like, I mean, it was fun. It was a fun watch, but like objectively, nothing was great about it. Some parts were annoying, some parts were cool, but nothing was like, yeah, this really deserves to be part of like the Lord of the Rings realm of TV.
Just so I don't have to break a tie, I'm just gonna go with Lord of the Rings on this one. Because I'm always the one breaking the ties on this damn show, and I'm always the one getting in trouble for my pick. One where either Chad
Rings
hates
of
me.
Power is moving on.
I can't believe it.
Oh my!
I'm not the
Yeah, major
tiebreaker, Mike.
upset.
You have to vote.
I vote for Made.
Yeah, it's
Then Made wins.
And Dad didn't vote, so he's a voting Made. Did he ever get his
I-
opinion out? I don't think he did.
I did vote for Made.
Oh,
See,
okay,
Made
cool.
wins.
Yeah,
Nice.
let's move on from this, shall we?
It is not.
We gotta give Made her dues. There she is. I mean, just look at that.
Congratulations,
Look at that
Made.
vacuum. Just look at that.
That's a
vacuum.
vacuum?
Congratulations.
That is a vacuum. Wow.
Yeah, she's a maid.
Yeah.
bro.
Well earned.
well
Let the
earned.
record show
Indeed.
that I went with the popular opinion on this one. So
Dude.
I don't want to get stoned by the crowd outside my house.
All right,
tomorrow.
moving on. We are halfway through this. We still got 2 divisions to go through. Now we are on to Division Chad. This should be interesting. I'm excited to see what comes of this. We got the first matchup here. Take it away, sir.
Yes, our first matchup is Fleabag and Outer Range. Now, we're starting the way I didn't want to start, which is I've never seen either of these. However,
Just want
I
to throw
have
this out
seen-
there, guys, for anyone who
Yeah.
hasn't seen the Patreon episodes. We totally were, in a limited capacity, able to pick the shows in our division. So the fact that Chad picked
yeah,
two-
these were late
2
picks.
shows
Yeah, these were
he's
late.
never
picks.
seen.
That were
and
your
I'll be
first
honest,
16
it is-
seed.
I'll be honest. At a certain point, I was going just solely on rating, so that's where Fleabag came, I believe.
Yes.
But I did watch
Chad
the trailer
Wars.
for both of these. Outer Range really piqued my interest far more than Fleabag. Fleabag's just not my jam. It looks like it's like a love comedy in like London or something. But what I do like about it is, at least in the trailer, there's a lot of fourth wall breaking stuff, and I'm always a big fan of that. So it might be a
that's
show
cool.
that might maintain my interest just solely on that. Mike, have you seen Fleabag?
Chad Wars.
I have not, but as Reddy pointed out, the sign has now changed to Chad
Yeah.
Wars.
All right.
I love it.
Poll. The
I
poll
have
on
not
this.
seen Fleabag. I have seen Outer Range. Outer Range was very fun.
Well, the poll goes for Outer Range, 21 to 12.
Oh,
Woo.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think that Outer Range, at least for my personal interest, I know we're trying to be non-biased here. It just looks like a far more interesting show. Wyoming rancher who's fighting for his land and family discovers a mysterious black void in the pasture after the arrival of Autumn, a drifter with a connection to Abbott's ranch.
Yeah, it's basically sci-fi Yellowstone.
Yeah, right. And that is one hell of a way to put it, because it's really what the trailers look like. So, yeah, for me, I mean, this is easy. Have you guys seen Fleabag? Any of you?
No.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I'm not a big comedy guy, so it's not probably ever gonna fumble its way onto my watch list. But
so we calling this upset
Outer
of
Range.
the tournament so far.
Upset.
yeah,
We
Whoa,
got
that's
Outer
a
Range
huge
taking
upset.
down the number 1 seed.
That's
kind of
nuts.
bit myself in the foot by picking the highest rated show and then knocking it out in the first round. But happens.
It's classic.
What a turn of events.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our
I
next,
like what Reddy's doing here, by the way. You know, for the winners and losers of these divisions, we had Knicks versus the Ricks. Knicks being the winners, Ricks being the losers. Now we got the Chads versus the Rads. But wouldn't you want Chad to be the winner and not the Rads? But Rad sounds like it should be the winner. I don't know.
Legendary.
We'll have to workshop that a little bit. But
so moving on to our next matchup, we have HBO's House of the Dragon
Man.
and Disney Plus's WandaVision. Now, I mean, I'll be honest, there's a clear winner here for me, but I do want to argue for WandaVision a little bit, because when I watched the trailer for WandaVision, it looked like it was going to be the worst show that I would ever end up watching. And actually quite the opposite turned out to be true. It actually was a phenomenal show. And I was kind of shocked at that, because they just didn't do a good job building that first trailer. Because I was like, you know, this was the first trailer coming off of Netflix's Marvel stuff. And I'm like, this is what they're doing at Disney Plus. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like,
And quick question. Is that still arguably maybe like the best Marvel TV show?
I was going to ask
or is that outdated?
it's
said
arguably the best Disney Plus Marvel show. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, because Chad's a big fan of the Netflix Marvel shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but I definitely think it held up. I thought the action was cool. I thought the playing with the realities was there's a lot of cool stuff in there. However, House of the Dragon is sitting across the aisle from WandaVision here. And yeah, I mean, that for this show to come and ride the coattails of Game of Thrones, my favorite show of all time, one of the best shows I've ever watched, and live up to the hype pretty much the whole way through. It's kind of a shock. It took a established world and made it feel very different, made the story it was telling in it very different.
To some degree, it like reestablishes the world, because I mean it comes earlier, but like it makes such a strong case that it like is the precursor like to Game of Thrones. Like it's kind of nuts how it stands on its own, like completely divided.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just cool to see like how different the world is back in that time as well in the show, like how different the Red Keep is, how different the city surrounding it is. Yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer for me, but I do want to point out that Matt Smith in this is just absolutely freaking phenomenal through and through. He is the standout star of this series, and there's a lot of standouts.
Your spirit animal, Matt Smith.
My spirit animal for sure. And I think that I was a little concerned with like the actor changes that we were going to go through, and I think they actually ended up being pretty good. So.
Shout out our companion series that you guys should all go check out.
Shout out.
Chad and I break it down.
Yeah, but give me some polls, please.
Oh man, you're not gonna believe this. Narrow victory for House of the Dragon. The poll 17-16.
Yeah.
Wow.
Barely skated out. That MCU power is nutty.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real. It's a real
it
thing.
is.
Can we just talk about the elephant in the room with the 9 seed? Do you guys think it was deserving of the overall rating of hold on 82.3?
That's pretty good, but we have to remember Chad picked a ton. He was picking like some real serious hitters when it comes to average ratings. Too.
Yeah.
So his 82 is like the high end for me.
Yeah.
His middle seed is like my top 5 seed.
Right. All right. So let's move on here. And this one,
Speaking of
yeah,
MCU.
this one's is a little tough for me, but not really in the grand scheme of things. We have Daredevil from Netflix and Midnight Mass, also from Netflix. And we talked about this a little bit, and I can't remember what episode I'm a big fan of Midnight Mass. I think that it's probably the second or third I rated it out of Flanagan's shows.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I don't necessarily like the way the story panned out towards the end. I thought it wasn't going to be a vampire story. It should have certainly been a demon story. That would have been way cooler. If they brought this demon back to this devout Christian town, and that's what they were following, and that's what was curing everybody. But the vampire stuff, it's cool. It's fine. I think it's a fun ride. But across the aisle is Daredevil, and I mean, I'm not going to harp on it too much because I talk about Daredevil on the show all the time. This is by far the best Marvel series, in my opinion, and that includes everything on Netflix and everything on Disney Plus. You cannot beat D'Onofrio's Kingpin and Wilson Fisk. Absolutely groundbreaking performance as a character, as far as I'm concerned. It's exciting that we're now getting him into the Disney Plus stuff as well. But give me some polls on this one, and then we can discuss.
I think you're gonna be happy. Daredevil 25 to 8.
I was not imagining a landslide like that, but I do agree with the overall outcome that Daredevil is better than Midnight Mass, but I wouldn't say it's like that crazy of a difference.
Well, I think in because Daredevil is related to like the the Punisher and all those Netflix things. Well, when all the drama about like the Punisher being canceled and all that jazz, like when Eminem's like saying like that's stupid and like about to like fight Netflix over it, whatever, it gets. I feel like at that point, like a lot of attention got put on these Netflix Marvel shows, and it really kind of got super just generally popular because everyone was like, "What? They're good, sweet."
Yeah, I think that
Eminem was throwing a fuss about this getting canceled.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was getting riled up.
I think Daredevil was popular. I think it was the popular one. I think the Eminem, that stuff probably made the other ones popular. I think Jessica Jones is really good. Punisher's good. I didn't like Luke Cage or the other one, but Daredevil's just got what we're kind of complaining the MCU doesn't have now, which is like a darker, grittier, more serious take on Marvel's New York, at least. So that coupled with the one-shot fight scenes, which are freaking phenomenal. It's just the hallway, the prison is awesome. Yeah,
it's such a great show.
So it's going to be I think it's a clear victory here. Yeah.
And I think a way to also like pit that up against Midnight Mass, like what scenes stick out in Midnight Mass, like the staircase or the prison,
I mean it's there's a couple that stick out, and it really revolves around the vampire thing. The first time you see that down in the like catacomb or whatever, it's horrifying. I don't think it's got the level of horror that his other stuff has. It's got its moments, but I don't know. I loved the show. I loved where they were going, and then the vampire thing just was like, nah. It like ended like nah. Like you could have taken it. You could have took it a way cooler way. But yeah, I mean, what sticks out to you in Midnight Mass scene wise? Anything? Like, do you ever remember?
Nothing pops up like those two in Daredevil,
right? Exactly.
Or like the door, the car door. Can't unsee that. Yeah. So we going with Daredevil here?
We are.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations.
Nice.
Daredevil moves on, and I will say, I think that the deviation, I should say, from the typical MCU stuff, because of course these Netflix series were not a part of the MCU. They were very clear about that. But they are, of course, they recast Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio
I
to
mean,
reprise those roles. But the stark difference in grit and darkness and tone of these shows is, I mean, it's what people, adult audiences are looking for out of superhero shows.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
that's
And we'll
but that's how spooked the MCU is of going off brand. Like they won't even like associate these shows with them because they're not on that MCU brand.
Yeah.
Like they have something there that they just can't get over.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope that Born Again is more in line with the original series and not taking a MCU spin on Daredevil. But we'll see. But let's move on to our next one.
Matchup 4.
Yep, matchup 4, which is Rami. Is that how you say it? Sure.
sounds good.
Prime Video.
Sure.
And
Elliot's desk neighbor. in,
Elliot's desk neighbor. Yeah.
Ah, good for him.
Season 3.
And then Disney Plus's The Bad Batch. Now let's do Rami first. I have not seen Rami. Has anybody seen Rami? Mike? Nobody. Nobody here has seen Rami. Follows a first-generation American Muslim who is on a spiritual journey in this politically divided New Jersey neighborhood. It's a comedy.
New
You know how
Jersey.
I feel. I've been very vocal about how I feel with comedies.
Yeah.
So,
Chad doesn't like to laugh.
and it's unfortunate that it's going
He
up
doesn't
against
like
Bad
music,
Batch.
doesn't like to laugh.
Doesn't like. I like music. I just don't have the spiritual
listen to
connection
it,
that you guys
know.
have to. And then we're gonna go up against Bad Batch, and Bad Batch. I mean, we've talked about Bad Batch a lot on here, and for them to take a set of characters from Clone Wars and spin a whole new show into it, and for that show to be animated in the same way as Clone Wars, I mean, you can give me polls. There's a clear winner here for me in my mind. I think the polls is going to be a slaughterfest as well, but
Plus,
we'll see.
the animation in the new season of Bad Batch, so good.
Yeah.
Like, it is so good.
I mean, is this an upset then if it's 25-8 for
Yeah.
Bad Batch?
Oh yeah,
25 to
Smoked
8.
'em.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a big.
Dude, we're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
a lot. We're getting a lot of
Getting a lot of upsets in your division.
upsets in my
Chad.
division. That's what I
I
get for
think-
picking really good shows with really good rated shows.
Right.
Can I just say that of all the Star Wars shows that are moving forward, the fact that I'm just looking ahead here, Andor being the most likely only one that doesn't move forward, is a crime against humanity.
What have we done?
It happens.
What have we done?
It was up against a really good show.
Yeah, it's
This
just not
is hard.
fair. Just
yeah,
not
just
fair.
not fair.
You
I felt
guys
about High
voted
Castle.
for it.
Yeah, we did. I stand by it. As I do all
stand
my
by it.
votes. As I do all my votes. Okay, let's go.
I
to
was
the next
pressured into
matchup
my
here.
vote.
Can't wait to hear your analysis of this matchup, Chad.
Yeah, this one's. I got a lot to say on this one. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel versus Titans. Now, Mike, you've seen Titans, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen bits and pieces of Maisel too.
Okay.
Measles.
So talk to me about him then, since I haven't seen him. You're better to talk about it than I am.
Okay. Titans. Above average, maybe low grade, great superhero show. In comparison to superhero shows in the tournament, I'd say maybe better than most MCU shows, not
So-
better than Peacemaker, not better than Daredevil.
Does your gauge go average, great?
Well,
'Cause
no,
you
it goes
jumped quite
average,
away.
good, great. So we're like high tier average to good to like low grade great. We're like
Okay,
falling
okay.
somewhere in there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
From what I've seen of Maisel and what I've heard from my friends and wife who watched all of Miss Maisel, Miss Maisel blows Titans out of the water. It's not going to get your vote because it is a comedy. It is pretty funny, but it's really well written, very well acted. It's got a pretty good cast.
Yeah, so it's the late 1950s. Miriam Midge Maisel. Go ahead and read that. Go ahead.
Well, what you've done is taken a bunch of people who've only seen Star Wars shows and asked them to compare them to shows that they've never seen. Yeah,
That's why
but
we're here.
Hey, to be fair, we knocked off a Star Wars show, so it's not very
the
valid.
best
Star
Star
Wars
Wars,
show.
show.
The
Yeah.
best.
Not according to him, though. I don't think he liked Andor.
Yeah.
He
But
liked
to be
Mando.
fair, I think the
It
Bad
was
Batch
too
probably
good.
would beat Rami anyways. Rami's
Yeah.
Rami's not. I don't think deserving of that seat. Anyway,
So let's do the synopsis for the
Maisel is
marvelous
amazing.
Mrs. Maisel.
Joe has spoken.
In the late 1950s, Maryam Midge Maisel has everything she has ever wanted: the perfect husband, 2 kids, and an elegant apartment on New York's Upper West Side. Her seemingly idyllic life, that's a hard word to stumble through, takes a surprising turn when she discovers a hidden talent she didn't know she previously had: stand-up comedy. Sounds not my cup of tea, but if you're saying, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of Titans. It looks, I'll use your aggressively mediocre comparison. So I'm okay with number 6 winning here, but give us some polls.
Man, Titans takes it 18-15.
Ooh,
That's
the
close.
polls.
Very
That's
close.
yeah, I would argue against the polls. I think what includes Titans on this show is one, like lack of great HBO Max original series at the time we made this. I had to add a bunch of caveats there. It's not a great, it's not one of the greatest HBO in general shows. HBO Max original series, it makes the cut. DC EU's strength was not the movies; it has been its series on HBO. And of the DC EU shows, this one is probably the strongest prior to Peacemaker coming out. As you can see, Titans came out in 2018, well ahead of Peacemaker. But yeah, up against the likes of Maisel, I would have to overrule the poll just based on merit here. Miss Maisel has to go through.
I'm in agreement. So, what are you guys thinking? Have either of you seen either of these?
No.
No.
All right,
Okay. Nice and easy.
Miss Maisel. I mean, just
That
look
was
at
my
those
pick.
color combinations there.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful graphic, man.
Well done.
Holy
Yes.
crap!
Is that
Whoever makes
Irving?
these needs a raise. No,
Look at this.
No,
It's
it
a
sure
period
looks-
that's
piece.
Monk. It's
That's
Monk.
awesome.
It
I was
I was
does
gonna
kinda
say it
look
looked like Irving a little bit.
It does look like Irving. Give you that.
Matchup 6.
Yes. So let's move on here. The Queen's Gambit on Netflix 2020 and The Sandman 2022. Now, I am very partial to The Queen's Gambit. I think The Queen's Gambit is an absolutely phenomenal show. It's
looked
one of those
good.
shows that I typically wouldn't pick up, and it just kind of fumbled in my lap at the fire department, and then I didn't put it down. I don't know what that main actress's name is.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
She plays a phenomenal, like mentally unhinged psych patient in this show, and
With a mild drug problem.
with a mild drug problem and a incredibly, how do I want to say this? She's like a chess prodigy.
Yep.
And I found myself kind of really enjoying the chess stuff in this for whatever
Yes.
reason. Never played chess in my life, but it made it really, really intrigued me to learn. But I have not seen The Sandman. Have any of us seen The Sandman?
I've seen like 1.5 episodes.
I think
Okay.
I've seen the first 5 minutes of the first
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
That good, eh?
Dad, did you have something for the Queen's Gambit?
No, I was just gonna say that sounds like my kind of woman.
Chess prodigy with an unhinged
an
mental
addicted,
disorder. and-
mentally unhinged chess
Yeah.
prodigy. All you
No,
ladies out there.
I have no sway either way.
No sway either way. Give me
I
some
would-
polls.
I would probably
Oh.
lean towards Queen's Gambit.
Poll takes it with a 19 to Queen's Gambit, 14 for the Sandman. Kind of close, but
All
know,
good. All good
clear
with that one?
victor. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Fantastic.
Nice, nice. Oh, we're booking right along here. We're
Yeah, now that we're out of your division, geez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Sorry, guys. Oh,
It was
it's
quite the ride.
when nobody's seen half of these dang shows, I gotta explain. Like,
No, you don't.
you guys are killing me. All right, matchup 7.
Matchup 7. Now this one, I'm very, very partial to both of these shows. I'll be honest with you. I know that everybody sitting here has a winner for this probably, but it is Disney Plus's The Mandalorian and Netflix's
Ooh.
Squid Game. And we'll get The Mandalorian out of the way first. First Star Wars series.
What's
it about? Takes takes a beloved style of character, makes a new one, and then gives us easily the most adorable Star Wars character we've ever gotten in Grogu. And yeah, I don't know, man. It will always have a huge place in my heart because watching that first season is just like, holy shit, like they finally found their way to do Star Wars over at Disney.
The magic sauce.
Dude.
Yeah.
Space Western with a cute plushie.
Yep. That's a good way to put it. Absolutely.
That gets my vote.
Yeah. And on the other side, we have Squid Game. And Squid Game, of course, I'm going to be partial to because it is a Korean series, but it feels very Japanese. It feels very anime, the whole thing through.
Yeah, it's
It's ripped right out of an anime. And there's probably anime out
good.
there that do something similar. But it's about a guy that's down on his luck and he joins a game, I guess the best way, Squid Game, and it's basically a death elimination to the end to get a bunch of money, and it is just it's so
wild.
good. It's so wild. It's one of the wildest shows I've ever watched. It blew up when it came out. I mean, I had people that would not even get remotely close to touching anything Japanese, Korean, or anything like that watching it that I know. So however,
Subbed or dubbed?
So I watched it dubbed. You know, I'm a big fan of the dubbed stuff, which a lot of people aren't. I get it, but I watched it dubbed. Did you guys watch Squid Game?
Yeah, I watched it dubbed too.
The
Is it
dub
good?
in this is
Is the
actually
dub good?
really, really good.
Never heard of it.
You'll barely probably even notice that it's being dubbed in most of the parts. It's done very well. But
Yeah.
you guys.
I like
Up
this
here.
comment right here.
You guys up
Squid
here
Game
need
is just
to.
Mr. Beast, but for 18 plus.
It's really, and it's, yeah. I mean, that's a really good way to
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
And he actually, Mr. Beast did do Squid Game stuff, a lot of Squid Game stuff.
He did.
But if you want a crazy, wild ride with a lot of violence, a lot of twists and turns, Squid Game all the way. My vote is Mandalorian. I mean, it's unfortunate Squid Game landed in this area, but
Get smoked.
yeah.
What's a poll say?
23 for Mandalorian, 10 for Squid Game.
Wow.
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 So we good with
Hey,
that?
Hate to
I'm
see
good
it.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, there we go.
Worst image of the whole entire.
Yeah, very, very pixelated.
What the heck, guys?
Yeah,
Art
whoever
department,
made
pick it
this
up.
image.
Way to
is
go, Mike.
fired. That Maisel. Ooh, that's a raised one right there. So have you guys watched the first episode of season 3?
No.
Is it
Nope.
3 now? Yeah, it's 3.
Big no.
I
The
get
shortest
confused with
15
Boba
plus.
Fett. Like, is it season 4 or is it season 3? Like, what's going on?
What was the question? I heard Boba Fett.
Yeah, I was just making a terrible joke of being
That
confused.
didn't land with anybody.
Season
Got it.
3
Okay.
of the Mandalorian or season 4 because of Boba Fett right there in the middle.
It's called
Basically,
a 2.5er, buddy.
yeah.
It's funnier when you don't have to explain it. So next time,
Yeah.
just
Well, hey, you
Just
asked.
leave it.
let the silence linger.
Speak.
I think this is my final matchup. Yeah.
This is matchup
And-
8.
We have the number 2 seed, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, and the number 15 seed,
Ouch.
The Witcher.
Man.
And again, picked up this one, Star Trek, because it had a high rating. However, it's got a decently high rating. I believe it's number 2 seed
Yeah.
in a jam-packed division here over in Division Chad Wars. I'll read the synopsis of it.
Chad Wars. It got a 90.5. That's its
Yeah.
overall rating.
So
Pretty good.
Star Trek Strange New World follows Captain Christopher Pike and crew of the starship USS Enterprise in the 23rd century as they explore new worlds. Imagine that. Throughout the galaxy in a decade
don't say.
before the Star Trek original series. So it is a prequel to the original series. I have absolutely less than zero ties to Star Trek in any capacity. You're either a Star Wars guy or a Star Trek guy in my mind, and we know where I land on that. I have watched the movies. I have tried to watch some of the older shows. Meh. I like the science stuff in Star Trek, but meh. The Witcher, on the other hand, and none of you have seen Star Trek, or has anybody here seen Star Trek?
The only Star Trek I've seen is the animated show Prodigy, I think.
Prodigy, yeah.
Under Decks.
Under Decks, maybe that's it. There's two. I think there's
Yeah.
a couple animated.
Yeah, the
series.
Prodigy one is kind of like the Rebels version of Star Trek.
Yeah. So on the other side here, we have The Witcher, and it follows Geralt of Rivia, Crown Prince Ciri, and Sorcerer Yennefer. Now, this is based off of the books The Witcher, which was also made into a series of video games. There's a clear winner for me here, but give us the polls, and then we can talk about The Witcher a little bit more.
Well, the polls have caused an upset, but I think that's because I don't know how The Witcher ended up in the 15th seed. But
Yeah.
22-11 for The Witcher.
Talk to me about The Witcher, Nick.
The Witcher?
Yeah.
Man. The Witcher's good. It's fun. Each episode is themed much like kind of like the game missions are, where it's like there's a monster that you need to kill, right? But it's all like a nice build up to that encounter, which then advances the story. Not the story. It advances like the idea of the show, like being a Witcher, which is the premise of it. Then there's like the story that's going on in the background. It also did this really cool thing that I loved, where it told 3 timelines at the same time. You weren't aware of it, but
Oh, wow.
Geralt here is like over the course of 10 years. The Ciri bit is over the course of like 2 weeks, and the Yennefer stuff is also over the course of like many years as well. And then they
Wow.
all kind of collide at the end. Spoiler.
Yep.
Which was really, really cool. So it's good. I definitely enjoyed it, and I don't want to call it campy, but like just the style where like an episode, like it kind of reminded me of like Gotham, where there was like the villain or like the thing. It wasn't like this. The main story was the driver. It was like these very pointed episodes about monster craft.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
That's the jazz.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely gets my vote. I think we can't disagree with it with the polls.
No.
I am more intrigued by Star Trek now, knowing that it's a prequel. But yeah, it's a clear winner for The Witcher for me.
I have no thoughts one way or the other. So I've seen neither.
You haven't seen The Witcher?
No.
Dude, you're the worst.
Dude, what?
You shut
To be fair, I don't think I
filthy
saw a
mouth.
single show in your bracket. So
yeah, so Reddy says he's waiting for the SpongeBob versus Breaking Bad matchup.
it's coming.
You might be waiting. Yeah, we still got one division to get through.
The next
And
turn will be.
he says you're supposed to say spoilers at the end of the stream, guys.
Oh yeah, gosh, totally forgot that part.
Yeah, so hey, we're out of division Chad and we're into division Dad.
Dad.
And we're also out of time. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, dude,
Yep.
I think we pulled it around a little bit.
We did.
No,
At the end of
making
Mike's,
good
I was like, dude,
progress.
this is gonna be like a
Project.
5-hour episode.
No, we're good. We're good. Making
We're-
good progress. We're right on target for a typical Showboys episode.
We are.
So
yeah,
I'll be the lightning
lead us off
round.
here, buddy.
Yeah, lightning round. Bonus
All right.
round.
My number 1 seed is Severance, Apple TV Plus. Last year against The Peripheral, which
Last
came out
year.
the same year
Yeah.
on Prime Video.
Look at that
Um,
seed. Whew.
Dude,
Number
It's-
1 versus number 16.
it's a clear winner for me.
We got to talk about this though.
I'm
'cause
sad because I have a feeling how the poll is gonna go,
it doesn't matter how the polls are going to
but
go.
that's only because no one has Apple TV.
Yes, this matchup has been the most intriguing matchup of the entire tournament for me since we drew the seedings and set the matchups. Mainly because these two shows try to do the same thing, but one clearly does it well, and the other kind of, pulls a Mark Sanchez and does a butt fumble. Like, I'm just gonna pull all the like sports references since this is like March Madness. We're just gonna. I know Nick's gonna be lost, but
It's one of the best plays I've ever watched in my life, by the way.
the one show pulls a massive butt fumble, and I too agree with Jeff that the poll is going to be skewed due to lack of exposure. But let's hear the poll anyways.
The poll. Whew, man. 17 for Severance, 16 for the Peripheral.
Wow, I did not see that coming at all. Holy
I think the
crap.
last time we saw it, it was the Peripheral was up, wasn't it? When we
Oh.
did our poll reaction.
Yeah, I
have
think so,
voted
yeah.
multiple times. I'm sorry.
One thing I wanted to say to your point, Mike, is that these shows are trying to do the same thing, but in a totally different way. Like the Peripheral, you have like all this fancy world building stuff that looks beautiful, right? Severance takes a totally different approach, minimalistic everywhere. The office space is very like nothing really going on, nothing flashy, right? It just goes to show you could have a crazy awesome show without all the freaking crazy looking stuff.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, I think both of these shows are kind of under the radar. I think Peripheral is a little more well known, but that's not saying much. I still think it's largely unknown.
Yeah.
But these shows do a fantastic. Well, no, I still say Peripheral does a good job of telling a story that about perceived reality, right? And it really, these two shows do a great job of blurring the line of morality when it comes
Yes.
to that subject matter.
Absolutely.
The Peripheral, you have people taking over what are called peripherals in alternate realities or timelines.
It's technically their future timeline.
Okay, so they take over an android body. Their consciousness goes through a VR set into an android body into the future, and they're able to like live in this, like move around, feel in this like future timeline. And there's stuff that the future timeline is doing to the past timeline, and this big mystery and all this stuff. Kind of cool, but like I said, we get a few butt fumbles through the series. It's not executed as well as I'd like to see. Severance does an amazing job of blurring that line of morality between the age-old question. I don't even know if it's an age-old question, but it is now. It's a fascinating question to think about. Like, what if you could go to work, and as soon as you walk into work, everything outside of work leaves your mind, and you only exist in work? And then when you leave work, that version of you that exists at work stays at work. And when you're outside of work, you have no memories of anything inside of work.
I basically do that anyway in real life. So
it has
You
super
kinda have
trippy
to.
visuals. It's a really trippy story, and
it even has goats.
Goats, yeah.
Goats. Clear winner.
Yeah, heads and shoulders above Peripheral. But yeah, it's just funny that these guys opened up round one against each other.
Yeah.
So
Got a winner.
Severance it is, eh?
Hey.
So much for that lightning round. Mike kind of took you over there. Didn't
I
he,
was
bud?
gonna say so much for my lightning round. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Sorry, I just love Severance. Severance
No,
is.
I don't blame you. It's such a good show. You guys need to watch it.
Now that I got you guys to watch Mr. Robot, my next
Whoa,
show that I'm going
Calm
to
down, Mike.
evangelize for is Severance.
Yeah, Mike,
Calm
calm down, dude.
Calm down just a little bit there, bud. It is a really good show. Okay. Next we have Number 8, Only Murders in the Building, against HBO Max's Station 11. We'll start with Station 11, a limited series on HBO Max. Post-apocalyptic, weird stuff going on. There was a traveling theater production team. They went around doing like old Shakespearean plays. I don't know if you guys watched it. Anyone see it? It was okay for a limited series. I was hoping for a lot more because like there was this virus that killed everybody, made them crazy. I think there was some cult leader that was trying to take children, and it's a mess. It's a mess. And then you have Only Murders in the Building. You got these 3 strangers that they are each obsessed. They're all obsessed with a specific true crime podcast, and a murder happens in their building, so they obviously decide to make a podcast about it.
That already gets my vote. It's a show about
it's actually
podcasting? Okay.
it's pretty good. I mean, next round I'll get
I've
into it
heard that it's
more
pretty good. Yeah.
if it makes it. Steve Martin Short, I mean, they're great together. It is a comedy, Chad,
Yes, I know. That's why I
But-
have not watched it yet. But I
but
hear
it's
so much about
good.
it.
but it's not like over the top hilarious. Kind of got, a little bit of dark comedy, or
Yeah.
darkness in there, but yeah, let's see the poll.
The poll for
Polls
this,
say.
it's crazy. 26 votes for Only Murders in the Building to 7 for Station 11.
Okay,
Well, I guess the number 8 seed moves forward, eh?
we will take it.
Get smoked.
Nice.
And also Selena Gomez is in it.
Yeah, I
Really?
love it.
Yeah.
I love that they're obsessed with podcasts, make their own podcast, and then like become the internet sleuths that you see all the like Netflix documentary true crime
Yeah.
things about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you got the trifecta there.
Well, the crazy thing is like, so Steve Martin's character was in movies like back in the day, like a one and done type
What?
movie, and he couldn't get a job. Martin Short is a producer for theater. Like he's always trying to do productions for theater, and he gets turned down. And he had like this one big flop, and he's jobless. But anyway, we'll talk about it since it made it through. We'll talk about it some more next week.
I got to throw this comment up
Big
from from our severance discussion. The yes, sir. That age-old question I've totally thought of before. Yes.
Yes.
Well, see, Reddy, if you had a job, maybe you would. No, I'm just kidding. That was rude.
Ouch.
I apologize. All right, matchup number 3. What do we got here?
We have number 5, Mindhunter, versus number 12, Bosch. This is a tough one for me. Like Mindhunter's cool because it's the story like where they started to get into like getting into the criminals' minds, like the psychology of it all. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they killing people? Why are they doing this? So it's their journey of trying to figure out all that stuff. So it's a fun ride. For some reason, it didn't really click with me. But on the other hand, you have Bosch, which I love Bosch.
Yeah.
I will fight for Bosch.
I
know
will
Chad's
fight for
on my-
Bosch.
on
Yeah.
my side.
So Bosch is really cool because Bosch, I believe, I could be wrong in this, but I believe it's Amazon's very first show.
I think you're
I
At
think
the
you're right.
time, they put out 3 or 4 pilots for shows and then gauged interest, and Bosch was one of those and got picked up for a series.
So good.
And so good, dude.
But
I'm
like,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say it's kind of like there's moments where it's kind of slow, like the pacing, but it doesn't matter. It's so like it just grabs you,
It
Like
does.
the storytelling is so wonderful in the show. I love it.
Yeah, so I've read a couple of these books as well, and he just plays such a good Bosch. And that first season, I mean that's probably one of my favorite first seasons of any show I've ever watched in my life. Typically, with most popular shows, it's like you have to kind of get through the first season while they're
Yeah.
figuring out their budget and they're
Right.
figuring out their accents and all that crap. Bosch is not that way.
No,
Bosch
they had to
comes
figure it
out swinging, very, very good with a great murder mystery.
Murder.
It's LA. I'm a huge LA police. You know, a lot of the shows that I like revolve around that. I will fight tooth and nail on this one. So let's get the poll results
Let's
before
do it.
I start
ready.
swinging.
I'll swing with you, man. We'll get this.
The poll goes in favor of the number 5 seed Mindhunter at 25 votes to the
Ooh.
8 for Bosch.
Interesting.
Decimation.
I would tend to agree with the poll, but that's because I've not seen Bosch. I would like to add Mindhunter David Fincher series gets a plus there. He's crazy. We have a con, a minus here. Mindhunter has kind of been in limbo as far as another season, and recently has been just that idea has been shot down.
Good.
We will be getting no
So-
more Mindhunter.
Well,
So,
here,
um,
let me.
To
yeah,
that argument, Bosch, how many?
say
5?
it's 5, 6, maybe.
They have a spin-off.
And there's a spin-off where after he's retired, he becomes a private investigator. So it is,
He's-
I mean,
he's
they're
still going.
still
Um,
popping.
What show was it that you guys were saying? Was it Narcos, where the actors looked like their counterparts? Mindhunter, same exact thing with the serial killers.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the actors in the series compared to their killer counterparts.
Yeah, we talked
It
about
is
that. It's eerie.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
How
It is.
they look exactly the same. And lastly, the interesting thing about Mindhunter is it tells the story of the development of the behavioral science unit of the FBI. But you get this show about serial killers, and it just focuses on the interrogation aspect. You don't see crime scenes really. You don't see bodies. You don't see the murders. You see the two FBI agents going to prisons and interviewing the killers, which is an interesting take on.
Which sounds kind of boring. I want to.
Yeah,
I was
if
gonna
you're-
say it. I'm glad you said it.
If you're not into the slow burn pacing shows, you will definitely not like Mindhunter.
Well, unlike some shows, Mindhunter's not trying to glorify being a serial killer. Like that one show we're not going to talk about. No, I'm kidding.
Dexter? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Well,
Well,
real ones. Poor Don.
I think that
Oh,
Bosch
yeah.
should win just based off of his house in the series, which is like one of the
It's
freaking
so
coolest
cool.
houses I've ever seen. It overlooks Los Angeles. It's got
so
his
cool.
like living room is all glass and it overlooks Los Angeles. It's so cool.
Dude,
Uh,
I'm just
I'm-
glad that you love it as
cool.
much as I do.
Oh, dude, I absolutely
Wow.
love it. Yeah.
I'm tempted
fans.
to let Bosch go through just based off of that reason
Yeah.
being
house.
so.
but
Awesome.
Mike, we could
Wall.
Yeah.
both vote for Mindhunter and win.
I know, but the it's really up to you.
And then you'll be dead.
it's up to
Yeah,
you.
We
yeah.
will kill you.
No,
What are
I'm
you
done
gonna
tie
do?
breaking. I'm done tie breaking.
Well, I already
Good,
gave my
so Bosch
vote.
it is.
We
All right,
haven't
there we
heard
go.
your we haven't heard your vote.
He can't tie break.
I
Okay.
can't tie break, so
It's
So he
gotta be
wins
Bosch.
settled.
Bosch.
Bam!
Bosch.
Decided.
Woo!
We have a winner of Bosch. Moving on. Gotta say, my feelings have been a little hurt this round, and I'm not looking forward to round 2 because they're just gonna get even more hurt
yeah.
with great shows getting knocked out left and right. Matchup number
All right.
4, Dad, take it away, sir.
We have Harley Quinn versus Euphoria. Number 4 and number 13. So I watched I think I finished the first episode of Harley Quinn, but basically she's on a rampage because her and Joker broke up. And it's wild. Like obviously it's on HBO Max, right? So cussing, it's bloody and violent, and there's like it's got some comedy in it a little bit, but it's a good one. It's a good one. And then Euphoria, I just watched the trailer. I didn't actually get to watch this and make
It's intense.
my page long notes, but it's a story of teenagers struggling with drugs and sex. basically, and making some shady decisions. Going to rehab and then lying that they're clean, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I
goes to
Hate to
rehab.
see it.
yeah, I mean, teenagers
I'm
lie
definitely,
anyway.
I'm definitely more intrigued by Euphoria. I thought the trailers looked really, really good.
Mhm.
Yes,
But yeah, I don't know if either of these shows will be ones I get to. I do frequently get to animated DC stuff every now and then, so maybe Harley Quinn will pique my interest at some point. But
Number 4 seed with 22 votes in the poll to Euphoria's 11.
I
Ouch.
saw that coming.
Big ouch.
yeah,
Harley
What
Quinn
are
was
we-
good.
What are we doing?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn it.
Bam!
Bam.
Got ourselves a winner. We
Yeah,
are
those
halfway
intestines on them?
through. Oh, those look like intestines.
That's
Dude,
definitely intestines.
dude, it's so it's very graphic. Dude, like within the first 5 minutes, she's swinging that sledgehammer around, blood flying everywhere. She's just destroying everybody. That's pretty awesome.
Man, this next matchup though. Whew.
Yeah, this is
Oh dear.
well.
Wow, the seed. What happened? Oh,
Oh boy,
So
damn.
we
this
have
might be the hottest seed so far.
number 6 Yellowstone versus number 11 Stranger Things.
Man,
Number
those
11.
boomers are submitting their reviews.
Cranking them out.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe they meant to hit like 40%, but they accidentally hit 90%, and they were like, I don't know how to fix it. So just
I
keep
can't
it.
fix it. I'm too old.
Yeah.
God. Now you guys just being rude.
Hey, we love boomers. We love all ages of people.
You're just
Um,
saying that because you're the oldest one here.
Darn tootin'.
Darn
Um,
turn. So tell us
So-
about this matchup.
Yeah.
It's a spicy one.
Whew.
Got a very cool Western versus a very weird sci-fi horror whatever.
80s.
80s show.
Nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
Yep, with a bunch of kids and this girl that has powers.
Likes waffles.
Based
He
on that
likes waffles.
description, I want to say Yellowstone should win.
I mean, I'll say that Yellowstone someday will make its way into my watch list.
Well, Yellowstone's already spun out. What, 2 prequel series?
Something
yeah,
like
and
that.
the one looks really good with Harrison Ford, whichever one, 18 something.
22.
Yeah, 1822 maybe.
Granddad the Cap. You shut up, Joe. I better not freaking be a granddad. Hope Papa tells me about the good old days.
Better not be a granddad.
Yeah, we'd have issues. That would not be good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like we're probably all relatively in agreement here, yeah.
But we haven't heard the poll.
What's the
I mean,
agreement
we can hear
there?
we can hear the
Chad?
poll. We can hear the poll. Let's hear the poll.
Let's hear the poll.
26-7. Stranger Things.
Agree.
Yeah, hard to
I
agree.
disagree.
I don't care.
See, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Not breaking that tie.
I voted for Stranger Things for like 20, all those votes.
I'm just trying to build up some rep with the audience before like the later rounds where like there's gonna be some hard decisions. I just know I'm gonna be called in the tie break some really gnarly
Yeah.
matchups.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's hard to beat the nostalgia factory of Stranger Things.
But shouldn't that count against it? Ugh.
No. You
No, because
shut
it does
your
it
mouth.
in all the best ways.
It does.
But then again, a Western that
Yeah, but-
Yellowstone is 100% nostalgia.
Here for boomers, it's 100% nostalgia.
Yeah.
So it's nostalgia versus nostalgia.
It really
Different
is.
generations.
There
Plus,
you go.
can we'll just add in the bonus category of the criteria?
Music.
Stranger
yes.
Things OST
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Kills
slapper.
it.
Wins.
Kills it.
Wow, who calls it OST? That is so
Well, because you get
ridiculous.
like the original score, right? of,
Yeah,
like-
let's just say that.
Well, I mean, it's easier to say OST. The Ost.
It's easier to type it when you're trying to fit it into a name for a file on a computer, but I don't know that it's easier to say OST. You know what I
Just-
mean?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
saying BRB. Like you just
Yeah, I
not
also
something you
do
want to
that.
do.
Or lols.
Yeah. Or LOL. Yeah.
Oh
Lol.
dear.
All right.
Lol.
Matchup 6.
We have Reservation Dogs versus Westworld.
Look at that
Which-
seed?
Fun fact: the same creators of Westworld made The Peripheral. Not that it matters now because they're gone. But I thought that was pretty fun.
Oh, that is pretty fun.
Anyway, I did not. Well, I did not watch Reservation Dogs. I don't know if anyone has.
I have. It's a
Aggressively
coming of age
mediocre.
tale. Not as good as Wayne. It is a Taika Waititi little piece there. I had to restrain myself, Chad.
Yeah. You didn't do very good though. You said it.
I mean, I didn't say like I normally do though.
That's true. Oh,
But yeah,
that's true. I didn't say that.
it's kind of funny. It has its moments. It doesn't do anything spectacular. Obviously, Reservation Dogs, you know, got the play on word and kind of they make some cracks at like Reservoir Dogs, you know. But yeah, it follows a group of Native American teenagers on an Indian reservation.
I take it back a little bit. I did watch like half of the first episode. The part where they get shot up by paintball guns, and Bear, the main character, is like passed out and he's in like the spirit realm.
Yes,
The dude that comes on the horse.
the guy on the horse.
that was funny.
No,
That's
there are
the only-
some
there
some
was some
pretty
pretty
funny
funny parts.
parts, but
They're like driving down the road. They stole the chip truck, and they didn't put up the back metal ramp.
yeah.
Like they didn't put it all the way back
Okay,
in. So it's
you
just,
know
like,
what? Now
dragging
we're
in the
talking
street.
about it. I liked Reservation Dogs. Now we're talking about it. There were some really funny parts in it.
Yeah, it. I'm gonna have to finish it. Just yeah, it's a different kind of story. It's
Man, I kind of want to vote for it over Westworld now.
Well,
they're a bunch of teenagers are like stealing a bunch of stuff, and like it's a small town, but they're trying to save up to get to
I'm
California.
trying to leave the reservation.
They're trying to get out. It's
I think they want to go to California or something.
but in the process, like they destroyed this one guy's life. Like they were in
a
like,
lot
this
happened
little
in the first
diner.
half of the first
Dude,
episode.
it's
Yeah, I
so
was gonna
crazy.
say a lot.
A
happens
lot
in
does
this first
happen.
You just
20
described
minutes.
the entire season. You're like, I want to watch half the first episode.
I mean, I think that I've not seen Reservation.
They set it
Dogs,
up pretty well.
I'll admit, but I think Westworld has a far more interesting premise
Yes, I
than
mean,
what we're working with over here.
from what I watched of Westworld, it's the clear winner.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just
with that.
because I love like what they put together, Western,
Yeah.
robots. That's my dream,
They even
like,
have a
let's
show.
do
They even
that.
have they even have a Shogun world where it's samurai in maybe season 2. I think.
Anthony Hopkins was in it for a little bit, so
Yeah.
can't go wrong there.
Commissioner Gordon was in it.
Yeah,
It's just a cool sci-fi story. At least that first season. I have not watched all of season 2 and season 3. Are there 4 seasons now?
I think
Um,
there's 5.
5?
I think
There
there's
might be
4,
5.
and it's done.
Yeah,
Um,
but I believe it
Canceled.
got canceled, correct? It didn't end.
I think they just kind of wrote an end where they could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not,
I
that's
thought-
working against it.
First 2 seasons were good though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. Super interesting premise, of course, based off of an old movie, which is probably based off a book.
The poll loves it. 25-8 for Westworld.
Yeah, I'm
good
not
with it.
surprised. Are
I'm
are
good.
we moving Westworld along?
Yep.
Let's roll.
But if you have Hulu, now that I kind of downplayed it at first, but after Dad started talking about Reservation Dogs, you should
The
watch
first
it. It's
half of
kind
the first
funny.
episode.
Yep.
Just
First
the
half-
first
first
half
episode.
of the first episode is great,
Yeah,
and then you can
Uh,
just stop watching.
that you're so right. The scene where he's like laying on the ground, and he's in that like weird limbo world.
Well, and then
dude on
like
horse
the
pulls
dude
up.
like goes to leave, and the horse just like lays down.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
it's classic Taika Waititi humor if you're into that. Anyways, let's move
all
on.
right,
Matchup
moving
7.
on. Got the boys.
Oh, this is a
Mhm.
massacre. I feel like.
And slow horses. Huh? Nobody? Well, we can go straight to the polls with this one because I already know who the winner is.
Well, this is notable because it is the biggest decimation so far in the polls. It is 31-2 for the boys.
Holy crap!
And I think I know.
So-
I think I know one of the two people who voted for
Yeah.
slow horses.
Fran.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Decimation.
Fran, but it just
Dude, you
I
can't
couldn't make it through the first episode. I'm sorry.
I
can't
barely
beat the
I
boys.
barely did.
And this is even if I did like slow horses, like Nick said, how do you get past the boys?
Yeah,
It's just
you
it's
when you
just
talk
not-
about like superhero, once again, superhero stuff, but not like stuck on like the MCU brand.
Yeah.
right.
Do something
mean,
different.
This is
I mean-
totally different.
yeah, exactly. What if
they own it.
superheroes were a corporation and just megalomaniac like psychopaths?
Yes.
As they
Come on.
probably would be in real life.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, can't say I'm surprised by that.
2 votes. Poor folk out there.
At least it wasn't a shutout, right?
Oh my god, might as well be right.
Close enough. All right. So last,
Yeah,
oh,
that
I'm gonna need
picture
your help
of me.
on this, guys. We got Letterkenny, number 2,
Woohoo.
against Jack Ryan, number 15.
What are you gonna do?
I watched both of these shows, like the first episode.
I like how he said I
the
watched
first
both
half
of these
the
shows
first episode,
and then
let me
added
tell
in
you.
the one episode at the end.
Well, because
Entire-
I couldn't keep
Wow.
that lie going. I'd have
Yeah.
to eventually talk about it. But what I saw of both, I freaking love. Letterkenny, hilarious. Like
Say
from
that
beginning
again.
to
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny was
I don't know. You said it really cool.
Yeah.
Letterkenny, hilarious.
Letterkenny was hilarious. Like from beginning to end.
Oh god, yeah.
Like, and I want to keep watching it. So like either if it doesn't make it through, I'm still gonna watch it. Just
Look
because
at that seed.
it's so funny.
Number 2, baby.
Yeah, I
then-
feel like we're just wasting energy here because
No.
I feel like this is going to be a clear victory for the two.
I feel like
above us
Jack
here.
Ryan, though, of the military-esque Prime series, probably the best one.
Dude,
Dude.
it's the best rendition of any Tom Clancy stuff.
it is so
Wow.
good. It is so good.
Very, very
I wish
good.
they would have named it Jim Ryan. That would have been an obvious win. But no, this is so good. It's so
how
good.
many terrorists did he put their weapons in Jello?
And then it just shows Dwight.
And Jim's just in the back, like,
Always looking at the
This is,
camera.
This is another one where the actor in a serious role, even though he's been in a lot of serious stuff recently,
Quiet
he's
Place.
just
Quiet
phenomenal.
Place. Quiet Place.
Phenomenal. Quiet Place, so good in Quiet Place, but he is really, really good as Jack Ryan. The best Jack Ryan, actor-wise, that I've ever seen, at least. And
Well,
there's
then,
been a lot. So
are you two down there trying to push for a flipping of the poll?
Joe says, "You guys are all ridiculous. Dad's watching one episode. Chad's watching trailers.
I watched like 2 trailers for 2 shows I hadn't seen. Get out of
Reddy's
here.
like
Some
some guys
guy
watching TikToks about it with an ad gameplay playing on the bottom."
And then you've got the boomers that can't figure out the remotes.
Yeah.
Yep. So to answer your question, Nick, I am pushing personally for Jack Ryan. I don't know where Dad
19
lands.
to 14 in the poll. Letterkenny. What do you got, Dad?
That's
Oh,
a lot
it's-
closer than I thought it was going to be.
That's very clear. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Ryan's popular, especially
I
when you're
will
telling
say-
it the best Tom Clancy
Oh,
So,
by
adaptation.
yeah, for sure.
And this is
Letter
like my
Kenny-
type of show too. Like
Political action
it's
thriller.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Letterkenny, the opening 2 minutes, like that opening, that first cold opening,
Oh, it's
maybe
epic.
the greatest cold opening, like, period in comedy.
Did you watch Letterkenny, Chad?
I have watched some Letterkenny. Again, not a comedy,
comedy guy.
Trailer Boys and Letterkenny just don't land for me. I honestly think I watched that cold opening without laughing a single time.
Oh,
so if
that's
that tells you,
awesome. Better.
if
That's
that tells you
funny in
anything.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem I see with Letterkenny, now don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite comedy shows. The problem I see with it is what Chad is struggling. It's super niche. Like,
Yeah, very. Yeah.
it is, I often describe it, it is the fastest paced show that goes absolutely nowhere. And if you do not pay attention, like if your focus is not 100% on the screen with your eyes and ears, the humor will fall flat and you'll miss everything that's going on, because it is nonstop.
It's yeah.
But it's nonstop dialogue with people sitting like on their driveway for 20 minutes. So like there isn't much of a true plot, but it's so funny. It is so funny. Nick, go ahead.
I think Chad said this earlier about like wasting our breath on this one. It's the last match, right? And the winner of this match has to go up against the boys. So
It's a
let's ask
sacrificial
ourselves
lamb.
this:
Does
it even matter? Like,
Right.
who gets the burn against the boys?
Well,
Unless,
I mean, it
Dad,
needs-
you think
it-
you can really make a case for one of these against the boys?
I'll have
Dad,
to
you do
watch
what you
more
want.
than one episode. I'll
You
tell
do what you
that.
want, but I think Jack Ryan has a much better chance of competing with the boys than Letterkenny even remotely has.
I would
It'll
agree
be
with
a
that.
slaughter fest.
But I would say don't even worry about the next round. Like,
Whatever.
which one do you think deserves to even move on? That's the real thing. We got to give props where they're due, and somebody does have to win.
I would
Not
give
seeing Jack Ryan, it makes it tough. But the way you guys are describing it, I don't know. I'd probably put it over Letterkenny as
Gotta
much as
flip
I
the
adore
poll.
Letterkenny.
Gotta flip the poll.
Jack Ryan.
Yeah,
Whoa,
in agreement.
that's huge. Flipping the poll.
Upset.
Yeah.
We got
Big upset.
a lot of upsets on this side of the bracket tonight, guys.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Oh man.
Division-
Happy.
Chad and Dad with the
Keeping Chad
upsets.
happy because we want him to be on the next episode.
Happy. I'm very happy. Everything panned out pretty much how I thought it was going to tonight.
Wow.
And
Hey, you
yours-
should have submitted a bracket for the challenge, man.
Yeah, I should have. There's a couple that still waiting to get out of here, but we'll work on it.
Oh man, how exciting!
Unbelievable. But yeah, looking ahead, we had a Patreon episode where we kind of looked at the poll results, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. And I want to say the poll maybe doubled since then, or we did get a big increase in votes since
We had,
we
like,
reviewed it.
10 more votes, I think.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we kind of did the look ahead game in that episode, and round 2 matchups, regardless of who moved on in this round, were going to be tough.
Yeah.
And we have some very interesting matchups for you guys next week. And of course, as we progress in the tournament and the matchups get fewer, we'll go a little more in depth with our deliberation between the shows, using more of the criteria in our analysis and whatnot. But yeah, before we jump out of here, Chad said it kind of went as he thought it would play out. What about Nick and Dad? What do you guys think? Think it kind of played out like you thought?
Yeah.
I'm surprised by the number of poll flips that we actually kind of push through, which was
Yeah.
interesting. So definitely some interesting poll responses. But yeah, for the most part, I did not see Jack Ryan flipping Letterkenny though. That was a surprise for sure.
You know, I wasn't sure either at first, and then I started watching Jack Ryan today. And I'm like,
Recency bias.
oh.
Yeah, great. So next week we will be taking on round 2, and I think the Sweet 16. One of these weeks we are pumping out 2
I think it's
episodes or
next,
2
I
rounds.
think it's next week.
I think it's next week.
Yeah.
So that will be fun. Make sure you guys join us. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed the episode tonight. You can jump in our Discord. We have a channel dedicated to March Madness that you guys can go ahead and give your thoughts, air your grievances. Grieve those that we lost tonight. Maybe we make an in memoriam video. I'm just kidding. That was an epic video on Mr. Robot. But you guys have a lovely night. We hope to see you again next week. Until then, you can check out the several companion series we have for shows in the tournament, by the way. Bad Batch, House of the Dragon, Chosen, Mandalorian, first ever companion series we ever did. We had an episode on Ozark, an episode on Arcane, an episode on Andor, an episode on The Expanse. Like, go through the backlog, listen to our thoughts, and maybe that'll help ease your pain or get you through next week. But yes, we are heading out of here. You guys have a lovely, while I find the song, night.
You were supposed to say "Peace out, Girl Scout."
Yeah, dude, you messed it up.
Sorry,
Mike,
bro.
you're the
You guys
worst.
made me laugh like really hard when you guys did that. Like, oh, you just say "Peace out, Girl Scout" and end up, bro. Yeah. I gotta say, we maxed out the brand feature in StreamYard with all these graphics and stuff. So I had to do this awkward like switch between brands because the intro song wouldn't fit in the March Madness.
Oh, gotcha.
Is it per brand?
Oh yeah.
cool.
I think maybe, I don't